What is going on? Today we are astutely drafting 2026 fantasy football teams. I'm just going to do this thing going forward where every time we do best ball drafts, I'm just going to use a thesaurus and change the name of the adjective in front of drafting fantasy football teams, because I feel like when you stick to something, people know what you're doing. Mason thinks everything is changing all the time, for example, and that seems to be working for his stream. So we're gonna test this one out. Astutely drafting fantasy football teams. Spicy, in the next let's say 20 seconds, if you want to enter a Best Ball Mania 7 draft. For those of you guys that are in the chat, we will be entering a Best Ball Mania 7, and then after the first draft, we'll kind of poll you guys what kind of draft do you want to do, so that we can get some of the friends and family into the drafts here. But in about 5 seconds or so, Spicy's going to enter this draft. So go to the main lobby, enter Best Ball Mania 7, and you should be in the draft with us. What's going on? Scribbles, what's up? AJ, what's going on?
Good?
Floc Anonymous, part 2, question mark? Yeah, Lumberjack Sports.
Yes, sir.
I have actually not seen part 2 yet. I don't know if you've watched it yet, Mason.
You gotta go watch
Mason,
it.
I almost called you Danny.
I am Mason now.
Have you seen it? Has he posted it?
Yeah, of course I did.
Okay, so I haven't seen it yet, AJ. I'm gonna have to, maybe we'll watch it on here.
Be a big surprise.
Yeah. It is Thursday, my dudes. Yes, we are waiting for 5 people for anybody that wants to go in and do it. To be fair, AJ, the reason I haven't watched it yet is because I wanted to make sure I was focused on not watching more because of how we're doing the auditions going forward. I want to watch them during the auditions generally, but because you're an OG, I'll watch yours.
This is because I have my lights very dimly lit. I honestly, it's just part of like an energy thing. Like I feel like yours are very bright, so like almost like to, I don't know, what is it? Abstract that, go opposite of that. Like, you know,
he's trying to go yin and yang here. Generally, we might need to teach Danny what it's like to be in a production studio. They don't usually just dim their lights for shits and gigs.
I don't know. I feel like it fits my vibe though.
And Jordan is correct. I have been pretty much, when I'm not doing any work, I'm like driving somewhere or e-transferring someone money at this point in time. Actually, you are not American. You guys are all American. You have no idea what e-transfer is. But basically, in Canada, we only have 6 banks. You guys have 60 banks probably. So in Canada, you can send like essentially Venmos or Cash Apps directly to people's bank accounts very easily because there's only 6 banks. So it's a centralized kind of system there, which is, maybe some people know what it is, but generally it is much better system than what you guys do. So
I thought Danny upgraded his webcam. I mean, it does. I will say with the lighter dimming, like if I turn it up, I don't know what it is, but my camera looks better when it's lighter.
Yeah. There's a link. Someone in the chat asked promo code. Brad, in the chat, there's a link there that's using our link there, which is promo code FSE. And also, too, as you can see on that message, you will get our draft guide once it comes out, the redraft rankings manifesto for 2026. You'll get that for free. Yeah, there we go. And you'll also get our Dynasty rookie draft guide for free. So you get a bunch of bonus content by using our promo code. Once you make a play on the site, you'll within 24 hours, you should have that in your inbox on your email that you sign up with.
I got the sleepy caveman vibes, apparently.
I wish this was a big dog or a mastiff. A, I think it would be challenging to fill one of those. B, I don't know if we want to be burning 500 bones or 1,000 bones on a June 18th draft here. So that would be...
I don't know. Every year I look back at my BBMDB and I see that my May and June drafts just outperform my freaking July and August drafts.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I think it's partially because you're rooted in like ability more so than hype. Like you're just like, I'm going to just stick to kind of what the projection is, what I think of the team, what I think of the player in those types of months. Do we want to roll with the Jahmyr Gibbs pick here?
I mean, the consensus 101, you see one by my rankings, one by your rankings. As much as I love Bijan Robinson, I mean, realistically, you're getting a 3-down workhorse running back for a top 5 projectable offense that plays in a dome.
That projects, according to my projections, for 24.46 points per game in full PPR leagues, which would be the 8th best fantasy football season of all time from a running back. So I swear to God, I actually tried to be conservative with Jahmyr Gibbs' projection too. Like I tried to limit his rush attempt percentage. To give you an idea, what percentage of the Lions' rush attempts do you think I gave Jahmyr Gibbs in that projection?
62.5%.
That's almost exactly right. 62.15%. So To give you an idea, with David Montgomery on the field, Jahmyr Gibbs had 58% of the Lions' rushing attempts. So I'm only projecting a 4% increase with David Montgomery.
From going from Montgomery to Pacheco as the number 2 in the backfield.
I actually gave him less of a target share this year as well than he had last year. So even despite that, like, as I actually think the biggest place you're going to see it for Jahmyr Gibbs is on the goal line, because that's where David Montgomery had been a pest before. So I have him with 17 rushing touchdowns and 4 receiving touchdowns, which is 21 total. But you might be like, oh my God, how could you put that in a projection? Well, he's had 38 the last 2 seasons combined. So without David Montgomery there, I projected him for, I think, 2 or 3 more rushing and receiving touchdowns combined.
You know what the comp is?
The last 2 years.
The comp here would quite literally be if you plugged in 2013 Jamal Charles in the Saints offense that year.
I think the comp is like 2020 Alvin Kamara, to be honest. I think that's probably what we're looking at here. I think, what did Kamara finish with that season? I'm actually taking a look.
I think he finished at 25.2 points per game, actually.
Yeah, he was a monster. Obviously, he had the 6 touchdowns on Christmas, but in 2020, Alvin Kamara was he had a 23% target share that season. So keep that in mind. That's an absurd number. 107 targets on the season. He only had 187 carries, which is insane. But he did also have 21 touchdowns himself and 25.2 points per game, which is, you know how crazy that is to have only 187 carries as a running back and have 25.2 fantasy points per game.
Wait, so I actually got that exactly on the dot?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
All knowledge. But yeah.
You see numbers like passing by, like, oh, I'll search by like historical leaders of certain years, and just like some numbers will just trick. Like, you ask me any day, and I can point out that 23.7 point per game year from Lamb happened in 2023.
Yeah. This is a good question from Sawyer. He said, how Ryan Heath-pilled are you? I could definitely have him on the channel again, because he does write exceptional articles. I'm not a big article guy, but his articles I do tend to check out more than other people's. Alphas being in 11 personnel or 12 personnel thriving this year, like JSN last year. Super interesting to me.
Yeah, I echoed this as well,
especially for 12 personnel heavy teams that we're expecting for sure.
Well, I've actually echoed this as well, because I've said it on the channel. Obviously, shout out Ryan because he's done the research on it. But with personnel changing the way it has, I honestly do think by the time we draft in August, hero wide receiver will end up being the top strategy. You secure one of those anchors, you fill out 2 or 3 running backs in your first 5 rounds while still having a CD Lamb type, a Drake London type, guys like that, like the elite alpha 27+% target share projectables. You get one of those guys, you surround them with productive running backs, and then you take your stabs at filling out your wide receiver core with Carnell Tate at the 5-6 turn, with, you know, guys like that in the 5, 6, 7, even upwards to, I feel like round 14, you can get a contributing receiver for your bench.
Yeah, I think that all makes sense. So I'm fine going Love if you want to go with Love with one of these picks. Devontae Smith is my highest ranked player here, so I would vote for him as one of them.
Yeah, love Devontae then. Let's do that.
Okay, do we want to go Love Devontae? Yeah, Love and Devontae. Perfect. Yeah.
Like I would have Rasheed over Devontae, but because I'm taking Love, we can do Devontae over Rasheed.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, when you have Gibbs, this is a good redraft kind of take as well. It's not just applicable for best ball, but when you have Gibbs or Bijan, you know that your RB1 is just going to produce essentially 1.5x everybody else's RB1 in the league. So you can kind of get away with, like, let's say Love is a 13 point per game running back for the first month and a half of the season. You know that inherently if Gibbs is producing 24 points and Love is producing 13 points, then you're getting 37 points per game out of your combined RB1 and RB2. And then obviously the goal is make the playoffs. Jeremiah Love is better down the stretch.
Well, I variated that bet because I do believe if anybody's going to be on track, on par with where Gibbs and Bijan are at, I mean, there's a reason. Obviously, McCaffrey qualifies in this as well, but outside of like the obvious projections, there's a reason why I have Ashton Genty ranked as my RB4. I do think the workload, the elite athleticism, the elite talent combined with the new scheme, like the upside would be we're drafting him top 3 next year. So I've kind of used that theory where it's like Jeremiah Love could start slow. If Ashton Genty does hit that ceiling, he's a 21, 22 point per game scorer. I now get the potential opportunity with the week 17 correlation on what's probably a uniquely owned stack, because I don't see many people pushing up Ashton Genty and Jeremiah Love to the top of that board.
No, they
at the
definitely
1-2 turn.
haven't been doing that. I would say if you're gonna rank Ash and Genty that high based on all of the factors you just said, the elite athleticism,
Yep.
et cetera, why isn't Chase Brown your RB4 who's in a much better offense
Um,
with more target upside?
I'm lower on the top end ceiling of talent there with Chase Brown. I think he's, let's just say a B plus level running back. I think Ashton Genty could be an A plus. That's really all it comes
That's
down
fair.
to. It's the player take that I think Ashton Genty could legitimately have that 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 15 plus touchdown year.
Yeah, I guess I view Chase Brown as the type of running back that after this year we will think is as good as James Cook.
See,
Like,
I'm more in the
I think
line
he's
like
going to be that good this year.
I'm more in the line that I think he's like the 10th to 15th best talent
I
in the
think he's
league.
that now. I'm
Yeah.
saying after the
Okay.
year, we'll be viewing him as like a top. What is James Cook, like the fifth, seventh running back in the NFL in terms of ability?
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable. Also, Hampton, I think you could definitely make that case with as well. He showed the 3 down upside last year. Obviously, you saw the big time spikes in games, for example, against the Giants. Really, what it comes down to for me is how does he fit with the scheme? Like, do they say, hey, you are a majority gap runner, but you're just so undeniably talented that you're going to get 75% of the snaps? Because ultimately, we view Keaton Mitchell as more of a 5 to 8 touch space back. We view Kamani Vidal as more of a pure handcuff. If that's the case, like Omari and Hampton can have the Jonathan Taylor plus year because you're projecting potentially 55, 60 plus targets. The
Yeah.
inverse of that would be, okay, maybe it's more of a 60%, 65% split. Keaton Mitchell's taking a lot of those wide zone touches. Maybe you're dispersing 12 to 14 touches in the backfield between the backups. Like, I think he's very polarizing because I can see either of those opportunities happening, but I'm totally fine pushing that into a top 15 to 14 pick because if it does hit, you're looking at 22, 23 points per game.
Yeah. If I had to place like a bet down right now of, let's say, all of the running backs from Chase Brown on this board right here, all the way up to Gibbs, who went first overall, I would put my money down that Kenneth Walker and Amari and Hampton have the lowest opportunity shares of any of the running backs there.
Probably.
That's kind of I'm not worried about Hampton. I think he's still a really good pick in the second round, but that's my worry or tiebreaker with Hampton is that I think that Barkley will have a bigger opportunity share, JT will have a bigger opportunity share, et cetera, of their respective backfields. But he's still a great thing. And I mean, I know Danny's licking his chops right now if this falls to us.
We could do a Waddle Loveland here.
I mean, we got to take Loveland for the correlation,
Yeah.
and Waddle I think is my highest rated player.
I figured that would be your guy, so that's why
I actually have
that.
Swift.
I just think because we have 2 running backs,
too.
probably need a receiver here.
Yeah. Let's go Loveland and Waddle. Those are my 2 highest rated players. You guys might see in my best ball rankings, I did a recent update this morning, and essentially what I did is I kind of moved down those like wide receiver 2 type projections, including a lot of the ones, if you go to the board, Spicy, that have already been taken, like Garrett Wilson and Tedero McMillan and Mike Evans, Devontae, even like, JMO, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, guys that I actually like and I think are good projections. I just, the way that I'm going through these projections with these teams, like guys like Swift and Montgomery and shit are just projecting for like 1.5 more fantasy points per game.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair.
Like it's, and also too, like if you think about it from a structural standpoint, what's the opportunity bundle that you're going to like more between, let's say in round 5 or in round 4, you're going to take a receiver, and then in round 7, you need a running back, or in round 4 or 5, you take the running back, and then in round 7, you need the receiver. Like you can get Mekhi Lemon in round 7, no problem.
I guess my exception would be I just think a guy like Jalen Warren, for example, would be mispriced. Like I would trust
don't like that range. I don't want to rely on that range of Pollard and Warren and those type of guys.
Well, that's the thing, because I think like from a pure safety projection, like, I would agree that the running back early and the receiver later would be more ideal when you're just projecting the median outcome. But I also do think the upside, the volatility of some of the receivers early, on top of the fact that I trust myself to be able to find those running back projections later on, would kind of counter that. So ultimately what I feel like, depending on who you pick in the 4th round and the 5th round, should be determined based off who you started your draft with. If you start with a Jahmyr Gibbs and a Jeremiah Love, like as much as I like DeAndre Swift, Cam Scadaboo, Bashal Tune, literally all those running backs off the board, I think structurally taking a strong receiver is going to impact my team a lot more in the bottom line. And I do trust myself to be able to enable that depth with, like I said, Jalen Warren at the next turn, or maybe you wait a little bit longer and you take your stab on a Jonathan Brooks type, who I've been taking a lot. Like ultimately, once you hit round 7, I feel like everybody kind of has their guys who they like at running back. Like you
My
like
guys are
Rashad
just at
White, for
receiver.
example.
That's why
Fair.
I think the receivers are just better projections. Like I like Mekhi Lemon. I think Chris Godwin's a decent pick, round 7 to 10. I think Michael Pittman's a good pick in that range. I don't mind. Like I think I'm going to get 11 to 12 and a half points per game out of most of the receivers that I'm going to take in round 7 to 10. And I actually don't think that the receivers in round 4 to 5 are going to be much better than that on a
Yeah, I
median
mean,
across the whole round. Yes, there's going to be 1 or 2 guys that crush and have 15, 16 points
I
per
do
game or
see.
whatever. But I think median across the whole round, most of them are going to be 1,000 yards, 7 touchdown receivers.
I mean, I would definitely view more of a tier gap, I would say, especially like now we're seeing Parker Washington off the board. Like this tier down, realistically, I
I'm
do
more
think
so
is a lot
speaking
more
in a
volatile
redraft
receiver.
lens too, because in redraft,
Yeah,
these guys aren't
yeah.
going to get pulled up the board as much too.
Well, that's the point. Like we're drafting a best ball team. Obviously, in a redraft league, like you push up the running backs a little bit more because you think a Carnell Tate type might even in this spot fall to you at the 6-12. Like if we were drafting in a home redraft league, I probably would have argued, hey, why not take DeAndre Swift? Because all these wide receivers are pushed down, and maybe we get like I said, Carnell Tate, Roma Dunze, Mekhi Lemon,
Right.
anybody like that, right?
Yeah, especially the idea of it being your flex in a redraft
Yeah.
league versus in best ball, you don't have to choose when to start somebody in your flex, obviously. But in redraft, having a guy like Swift or Montgomery or whatever, it feels better to have a guaranteed touches guy there.
Caleb with one of these, and then I would argue the conversation would be: do we want Mekhi or do we want Jalen?
I would definitely pound the table for Mekhi over Warren, based on my rankings.
Cool
But yeah, Caleb for sure, one of these to go with Loveland.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I go Loveland. We have the double stack for Hurts if he's gone, probably. But yeah, he is. He got taken already. But we could take the week 17 opponent of the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback
49ers.
Potentially.
Yeah, we could take some 49ers correlation. Maybe like a
we
George
could take
Kittle
Purdy as our
in
second
there.
quarterback, and then we play
George
it for
Kittle.
Smith and Lemon having the big game, Purdy as the run back or something.
Well, that's the thing. It's like usually I don't like overspending on a second tight end, but if I know I have a Loveland and it's going to be a 2 tight end build, I don't mind pushing up my second tight end and getting just an undeniable duo like a George Kittle and a Colson Loveland. Or I actually mix in a couple times because it is also the week 17. Both Loveland and Laporta being drafted on the same team. You close off your tight end build, and then all of a sudden, week 17, if Loveland catches 2 touchdowns, Sam Laporta catches 2 touchdowns, that game is the game you need. And you have arguably 2 of the highest scoring pieces, which, again, I don't even think that's outlandish to say. Outside of those 2 guys, from a pure receiving projection, who would you put ahead? Amon St. Brown, maybe Luther Burden or Aroma Dunze, maybe Jamison Williams.
I mean, you're just playing the odds that those are the guys that smash in that game specifically.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. I look those guys kind of like interchangeably. So the fact that you can get the spike week upside in Laporta mixed with Colson Loveland at that point, I'm totally fine with that in the 9th round.
Yeah. Also, I don't think I'm low on Achane relative to his ADP. I have Achane at 13. Isn't his ADP lower than that?
I mean, I would say this is probably more geared at me. I'm definitely lower, and it's more so just I prefer the offenses of the guys that goes around them. And I ultimately think, like, if I have to look at him versus Hampton, him versus Henry, him versus Walker, him versus some of those other guys, the offense is just such a big question mark for me.
Yeah. I mean, among that tier, I am very much leaning on the side of I think there's a bigger gap between could do it and has done it. You know what I mean? Like Achane and Barkley are the top of that tier for me because they've been league-winning running backs already versus Hampton and Genty, who you prefer, I would assume, in both cases, could do it or should do it, let's say, even then could do it because of the caliber of prospects they were. I just think that gap is a little hard for me to bridge when I know that, you know, the past fantasy production is generally the bigger indicator, but I understand the rationale for saying that like Hampton or Genty would have a higher ceiling for sure.
It's not even just the offense. It's in terms of the pace. It's in terms of the passing volume. It's in terms of the potential receiving opportunity. Like, I just feel like it's a complete unknown versus if he had the exact same circumstances as he did last year, I'd change my tune a little bit because ultimately, even though I think Malik Willis could be an upgrade in real life, the fact of the matter is there's going to be less receiving volume available in the entire offense. That's my take on it.
I think losing Waddle offsets that personally, but
But like, how many times is wide receiver vacated targets all gone to the running back? Like, I also think
I
that's
mean,
going to
it
be
hasn't
supplemented.
happened very often, but how many running backs have
Yeah.
been as talented a receiver as
Sure.
Devon Achane?
Sure. But I also think that's supplemented through a wide receiver committee. I also think Greg Dulcich maybe takes some more work compared to last year. Like, I think there's a lot of offsetting factors. Obviously, Achane is still
I'm
going to be
not
the stud
factoring
number.
Greg Dulcich in one bit to my Devon Achane projection.
It's not about his projection. It's about the overall available receiving volume. If it's an offense that throws the ball 430, 440
Where do you
times,
win, by the way?
those guys are going to be a factor.
Okay, which they definitely could throw that few amount of times for what it's worth.
It's just like, unless you're projecting Achane for a 28% target share, like, I don't think it's unreasonable to say his volume is going to go down. And also, Purdy did get sniped.
I would roll Mike Pittman and Chris Godwin are my highest 2 rated players, I think, on the board.
No, because you're just assuming all the available volume in the
on the clock.
Oh, let's pick first.
You want to go
trade rating me, but
I'd go Pittman or Godwin here. Those would be my picks.
Let's go Godwin.
Godwin. Okay.
And then let's go. Can you sort by ADP quick? So Godwin, we got. Like, I'm higher on.
I'd be fine with Menengai given the Bears correlation and stack we have.
What about Gainwell?
I don't want to pull Gainwell up the board,
but it sets up our second quarterback being Baker.
I'll if you want to do it, I'll capitulate. My opinion on Gainwell has always been like, I'll just take Tucker if he goes earlier than I want to take him.
Yeah. I don't know. We could do that. I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm fine with Gainwell.
Too. It's not about paying him to give him less touches, AJ. It's about the fact that I think there's going to be less available volume on the offense. And unless you're saying with a straight face that he's going to get a 28% target share, it's hard for me to see that he equates to the same amount of raw targets that he did last year. That's my entire take. If the offense runs less plays, is he going to be a 28% target share running back? How many times have we ever seen that?
Yeah, there's a real I think there's a possibility that he gets, like, if he's banged up in week 13, he gets Garrett Wilson or Brock Bowers as well, where he gets shut down for the rest of the year because the Dolphins are trying to win, like the first pick in the draft or whatever.
Like, I still think he's the focal point of the offense, but at the same time, when it's a bottom 3 projectable offense that's going to run less plays, I'm going to be factoring that in.
Yeah,
how could he not be? That's just a high projection
target share is within the range of outcomes for him, to be honest with you. I think that 22.5% target share is very much within the range of outcomes for him because he was a 20+% target share guy last year.
But again, we're talking about legitimate rarefied air of target volume. If he does that, then so be it. Like,
I would say that a running back who was drafted in round 3, who's been an RB6, and RB4 in his career is already rarefied air.
I'm not saying he isn't already rarefied air. I'm saying a 25% target share. Like, we saw him at 16.1%, I believe, 2 years ago.
19.8%, Danny, last year.
I know 19.8% last year. I'm saying projecting a 6 to 7% increase is pretty unreliable.
Without Waddle, though, you think that's not? I don't know, man. I'm not saying he'll go up that much.
That's a huge jump, bro.
So 19.8% to 25% is 5.2%. First of all, Jalen Waddle.
That's a huge jump.
I don't think, not without Waddle, man. Waddle's a legit dominant target earner. I think he could easily have a 23% target share.
I just think you're discounting the rest of the receiving core, just assuming that's going to happen, though. Could it happen? Absolutely. But assuming that it's going to happen, I think, again, that's a huge jump. That's literally a 25% increase in his volume from last year.
Okay. If he had a 23% target share, 3.2% increase of 450 pass attempts, very, very low pass volume.
I think it could be even lower than that. I think you can get a historically low volume.
That's historically low. 450 is historically
low. That's more than what Jalen Hurts has been at.
That would have been lowest in the NFL last year.
Yeah, that's more than what Jalen Hurts has been at in some seasons.
Sure, but like, you also have to factor in that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win games and the Dolphins will be losing games.
Sure. Domain. Call me crazy, but I think projecting a running back for 25% or more target share is very optimistic.
Okay. All I'm saying is this. 23% target share is a 3.2% increase.
Yeah, sure.
A 450 pass attempt volume for a team that's going to be losing a lot is a pretty low projection.
I also think
103.5 targets on the season.
I also think a 19.8% target share last year was very high because you look at because you look at it in relation to 2 years ago, it was a huge jump to begin with.
Yeah. I get it. Like, I can see AJ's point, I guess, is my thing.
No, I get it. I just think treating him like a guaranteed 25 to 27% target share player is too much.
Let's go with Brooks with one of these.
Oh, absolutely.
Do we go Brooks and White and just be finished at running back?
What does the construction say?
5, I would imagine.
So we need 1, 2, 4, 2. I don't mind mixing in a running back here. We could take a receiver, but I think that
like any other. I mean, we could take
fair.
Shakir, but I don't really feel exciting about that.
Yeah.
Let's go Brooks and White, and then we can build an 8 receiver build, no problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also,
like
another fact. Also, another factor I will point out.
You there.
Also, another factor that I will point out. Again, you might be less worried about this than me, but I do think it should factor in that we had continued exact usage of how Mike McDaniel wanted to utilize HN in the offense. Is every single coordinator going to feel that about a sub 200-pound running back? That's all. Yeah, that's my only point.
That could matter, but I think the fact that they paid him makes it matter less.
Again, like he make that supplemented the receiving volume and maybe the raw carries go down. Like I think projecting his overall workload he had last year, as well as a 5.2% increase in targets, to me is a very rosy projection. Like Avery said in the chat.
Yeah,
I think if he gets more targets, he could maybe even get like 50 less carries.
Yeah, my whole thing here too is projecting a team. I don't know if this is a real stat. I'm gonna just make up a fake stat here in my head here. I don't know if a team has ever finished with a top 3 NFL draft pick like the Dolphins are projected to do and pass the ball less than 450 times, because that's already like a historically low number to begin with. I think that the Dolphins, even if they want to be run heavy and they want to protect Malik Willis from himself or whatever, they might have to throw 475 500 pass attempts. And even with a 20% target share, you're talking 95 targets easily.
So raw split wise, I would agree, but also I think we can both acknowledge that this is probably going to be one of the slowest pace offenses in the league, right?
Right, but I'm just talking overall attempts.
Fair. I mean, like I also think
Raiders were one of the slowest paced offenses in the league last year, who had the first overall pick and passed the ball 515 times.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say Geno's definitely more well equipped to pass it over 500 times than Malik.
They passed because they had to, though. Is my point.
A little bit of both, though. You trust Geno to be able to drop back more, especially when the offense.
The league in interceptions last year. I don't think they trust Geno to do anything.
Bro, they couldn't run the ball either.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing that I think is very reasonable is saying Achane will not average 5.7 yards per carry on this team next year without Mike McDaniel and on a team this bad, which I think is very reasonable to say. And he will have to make up for it with probably at least 100 targets, if not like CMC had 129 targets last year. And it wouldn't shock me if Achane could reach those numbers this year potentially, because not only is he used as, the guy out of the backfield and that kind of thing, they do use him all over the formation.
Let me be perfectly clear as well. The fact that I have to be anti-Achane on this agenda, like it's far more, I'm just so pro on the offensive upside and the overall ceiling of the running backs ahead of him more than anything. Yeah. Like if I have 7 talented running backs and 6 of them playing better offenses than Achane, I don't think it's outrageous to say he's at the end of the tier for me.
Yeah, if that's kind of tiebreaker, that's a tiebreaker for you. The tiebreaker for me is Achane has done this many times before. He was just paid and he's in his prime.
This is exactly where I'm at too, Jared. I have him as my 206 for this reason, where it's like, if Hampton crushes, I think it's legitimate top 3 running back. If Genty crushes, if Chase Brown crushes, like to me, it's just safer offensive projections with still the elite upside of crushing.
I wonder if we've had a player who was drafted in the first round of fantasy drafts at running back, who was on a team that I wonder if there's been a player who's been on a team that like finished with a top 3 pick that crushed for fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm curious if Achane would be in like completely unprecedented territory if he did something like that, or if we have precedent for that happening already. I'd be cool with Goddard because we are it's by conflict.
Check construction.
We need a receiver, I would imagine.
We have receiver.
Take Malik Willis.
Let's go Naylor, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go Naylor.
Let's go with Naylor. I'm fine with that.
And you want to go upside, or do you want to go stability with the other receiver spot here? Because if we want upside, maybe we take like a Denzel Boston type. But I'll let you make the pick here.
Can I interest you in Malik Willis as the second quarterback?
Do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go with Malik Willis. I'm not super high on Malik Willis, but I like building 3 quarterback builds personally with elite quarterbacks like a Caleb Williams. And I like getting like an upside rushing quarterback as my second of the 3 quarterbacks. And then we can tack on, we have Jeremiah Love, for example. We can tack on Jacoby Brissett to this team or something if we wanted to.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that.
But But yeah, I have Achane ranked pretty aggressively RB5. It's just hard to bet against that. He will need to see an uptick in receiving usage, which I think is very likely. That's Avery and I are, I think, exactly like, is he, he's my 13th overall player, and I think he might be Avery's as well. So we're pretty much in lockstep with where we have him.
So I have him, like I said, at 18. The guys that I have directly above him. So
10, actually.
So for what it's worth, I think 9 through 18 is relatively close for me. But I have him ranked Genty at 9, Jonathan Taylor at 10, Justin Jefferson at 11, James Cook at 12. Then I have a slight mini tier after those guys. 13, Drake London, who I have pushed up the board. That's also going to factor in. I'm assuming you have HN ranked above him. Drake London?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I have Drake London pushed up the board because I think structurally at the 1-2 turn, I want to be getting an elite wide receiver because ultimately at this point, I do trust a Javonte Williams archetype at the end of the third as opposed to some of the receivers that are left there because I think at that point, Olave, Rice, guys like that are probably off the board.
Yeah.
So
I
have
Justin Jefferson's my 202, man. Like I'm
so fair. So I have London pushed up at 13, 14 through 18 in order. Chase Brown, Amari Hampton, Ken Walker, Derrick Henry, Devon Achane. If you prefer him to literally any of those running backs, go ahead. That would make him the 202.
Yeah. Maybe we should make a video like, what the hell do you do at the 1-2 turn?
That would be a good concept.
Because from like the only guys that I see like a reasonable case to be like the head of, you have to take them ahead of other guys at the 1-2 turn are probably St. Brown and Lamb.
Yes, I agree.
But then beyond that point, like Chase Brown's my 109 and he's like 207 in ADP. So I think that between Chase Brown, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Devon Achane, Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, Amari Hampton, and Ashton Genty. And then if you wanted to throw Drake London or Derrick Henry into that conversation, I just don't personally have him there, or Kenneth Walker into that conversation. You could easily do that. Yeah. But yeah, the range is all throw them in a hat. It's just what do you value?
Also, this is a crazy stat. Yeah, if the Dolphins ended up being pick 9, I think that'd be crazy. I think they're probably guaranteed top 5 pick. And also, I think that's a reasonable stance to have if you want to say Achane's more proven.
To kill me as well.
Well, again, let me finish my take first. Achane's more proven than Ken Walker. We know that. The reason why I have Walker pushed up is ultimately you could look at Andy Reid's history. You can point out, the last couple of years it's been a committee. Well, when you have Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt as your main competition at touches, does either of them realistically point, let's give one the bell cow share of the total?
Go Chig. Fell a ton in
let's go Chig here. And let's make another pick, and then I'll continue my take.
Yeah, Chig. Do we want to take a third tight end on this team? I think we should.
With Loveland? I mean, yeah.
The best available players are tight ends, too. I'd be fine with Strange if you want to go with Chig and Strange.
I like Barner or Schultz as well. Like, we can take one of those guys. Yeah, like I'm cool with Strange.
Okay, let's go with Chig and Strange here.
So we'll make this pick, and then I'll continue my take. So last few years, again, people want to say, well, Andy Reid's run a committee. Nobody in that backfield has commanded a lion's share of the touches. And we've seen talented, elusive backs in the past. Brian Westbrook, LaShawn McCoy. We've seen what it looks like when sure, but like Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus Ken Walker, let's be real, right? Yeah. Who does Ken Walker profile more like? Those two guys or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
My problem is Ken Walker profiles like Ken Walker, man. That's my problem.
So the reason why I'm saying this is, again, I think he's clearly the most talented back in the backfield. I think Emmett Johnson was an overrated prospect, ended up going on day 3. I don't think he's going to be a big time factor. Sure, Emmett Johnson and Brashard Smith can contribute some third down work, but realistically, you're going to be getting explosives. You're going to be getting inside the 5, inside the 10 equity with Ken Walker. And even though we've talked about the Charbonnet split, we did see when Ken Walker was healthy, him be a 16.5 point per game type of running back in a middle projected offense before.
Yeah. I have a fun thought exercise that I thought of because so this is not an original idea. So I don't want to be getting Paul Patterson here saying that I stole somebody's idea. I saw Karain and Sam Sherman do this, and I think it's a great idea. I want to rage bait each other's rankings where I say, because here's my rage bait for you.
Yeah.
I would rather, and I can almost get there on pure straight ADP aside, I think David Montgomery could outscore Kenneth Walker this year.
Brother. Put
straight
a bar
up,
of soap
not even just that
mouth.
value. I think he could straight up outscore him.
You need a bar of soap, brother. That was disgusting.
I'm sorry, dude.
You need to clean that breath. It smells like shit. Oh my God.
Dude,
what the heck?
Joe Mixon commanded 85% of the Houston Texans carries when he was last healthy in 2024. If
Sure.
David Montgomery commanded 85% of the Houston Texans projected carries in my projections, that would be 370 attempts.
I
He's not
like
going
Montgomery the pick.
but-
I like Montgomery the pick as the discount Javonte, the discount Kyron. If that's the context we're drafting Montgomery, absolutely. The offense probably going to be 15 to 20 range. So obviously I couldn't rank him with Kyron and Javonte, top 5 Vegas projections. But I do think like the discount version of that would make a ton of sense. However, we got to cover our nose there. That is absolutely filthy.
Okay. I mean,
disgusting.
The Texans were 13th in scoring last year with
Sure.
Stroud playing like shit, no
18th in
offensive line,
yards.
no run game, rookie receivers, no Tank Dell. And
So
here's the other, they scored 6 total rushing touchdowns on the season as well.
So Corey, obviously context matters, but are we projecting a 30-year-old running back to touch
29.
the ball? He's going to be 30.
No,
Okay,
he's barely 29.
Oh, my bad, Unc. I don't want to age you out by giving him a year. Like that's like me calling you 29, eh?
Pretty much, yeah.
All jokes aside, though, I just feel like given the last few years, the overall carry workload, it's hard for me to project him getting all that volume. I think he's brought in to be a 3-down running back, but realistically,
69.5% of the attempts, which is
309 carries is a lot for a guy who's been around 120
Anyways,
to 150 last few years.
We got to make a pick here. I just mentioned Tank Dell. He would be my pick out of this group.
Oh, I prefer Noel straight up.
Okay. Well, you make the pick. You want to go Mooney instead?
Yeah, let's go Mooney.
Okay, let's go Mooney. I definitely do not prefer Noel straight up, but the reason I'm getting Tank Dell now is because based on my conversation with James, he expects Dell to be cleared in time for training camp. And then once that happens, CLV on Tank Dell will be very high.
I'm not going to be doing it much. How about we go Dell and Noel when we make the anti-Nico bet then?
Sure. Let's grab Dell first because he goes higher in ADP.
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. We need another receiver for the construction right?
Let me be clear. I'm not projecting him to get 85% of the touches. And also I said carries, not touches. 85% of the carries is what I said.
I think Ken Walker and Dave Montgomery finished with similar splits in the backfield.
Okay. I think that's a reasonable opinion, but I also think that David Montgomery might be better than Kenneth Walker at running the football.
Brother, come on. You can't be saying that. Let's be real.
Okay. This is what I have Montgomery projected for. Ready?
Peter, I'm not anti-Nico. I'm more so saying in BBM, when you're drafting 150 teams, you kind of have to galaxy brain a scenario where if Nico did miss weeks in the fantasy football playoffs and the 1-2 was Noel and Dell, this team would be well suited. That's also the only thing.
Mike, this was the pre-debate. David Montgomery versus Javonte Williams and Kyron was the pre-debate.
I think he's the discount version. Like if you get David Montgomery in the 4 or 5 term with DeAndre Swift, they're like, they're going to outperform their ADP. They're the steady eddies, which also like does scare me because typically that means dead zone. But I just think they're good projections. Like realistically, you're right. Like what's the difference between them and Jacobs? Even if we were assuming Jacobs was to play week 1, what's the difference in terms of what they project as?
There's not a difference.
Like offensive projection wise,
projected 14.83 PPR points per game. To give you an idea, 14.83 PPR points per game is high-end RB2 territory. Danny, what opportunity share do you think I have David Montgomery projected for at a 14.83 PPR point per game total?
Overall opportunity share?
Overall, targets and carries of the running backs only.
So you mentioned 69% of the snaps, so I'd be guessing that you're probably
61.25% of the snaps, 69.5% of the rush attempts.
Yeah. And then probably not more than an 8% target share.
Yep, almost exactly that.
Yeah, so
even though he has 3 seasons of 11% or higher in his career.
Yeah, I just think the target competition there does matter. Like I think even if you got 40 targets from him, given the mix and roll, you'd be happy.
His opportunity share is 54.73% because I have Woody Marks projected for 60 targets because I think he's going to go back to his role that he had in college and be a third down back. And I only have him carrying the ball 89 times.
Jared, I don't hate on Walker. At the end of the day, I trust the situation. I trust the offensive upside, and I think he's the exact running back they needed.
I think Kenneth Walker is the worst pick in the second round. I think he's the worst pick.
Of every
second round player, I think he's the worst pick.
I mean, I disagree on that, but it's a good second round.
Yeah.
Like I my thoughts. I think Saquon Barkley is.
Yeah. I just
offering to anyone
how
but
can you
Danny.
possibly not like Saquon Barkley and like Kenneth Walker? Saquon is everything that Kenneth Walker wants to be.
Lack of receiving volume. I don't believe in the offense. I have Jalen Hurts ranked at quarterback 10, and ultimately I think there's a chance that the player is declining. The offensive line got hurt last year. I don't see it being any much better. Like, I think there's far more risk in Saquon Barkley's profile than in the prime running backs or Derrick Henry, who's in a top 5 insulated offense.
I mean, if we're just talking injury risk, Walker's a bigger risk than Barkley is.
I'm not talking about injury risk. I didn't say that once.
Age is part of the conversation, you said.
Sure. I'm more so just saying declining efficiency because we did see a big step back from 2024. Like, I do think there's a possibility we see Saquon Barkley, even if the situation's improved, 4.3 yards per carry, 35 targets on the year. He's the RB 14 in points per game.
Okay, Noel went, so we're going to have to make a different pick here. Do we tack on a third quarterback here?
Third quarterback, we're right on the fence between 2 and 3 quarterbacks.
I'd be fine doing it. We just don't have a stacking partner.
Just take a young receiver. Take Noel.
Noel? Well, he's gone.
Did he go? Oh, did he go?
We could take
Skylar Bell?
Besh?
Yeah.
Kirk? Fields?
Whoever you prefer out of there. I don't have a strong lean.
Besh is not really performing in camp right now. Let's go Jacoby Lane. Fuck it. I take a lot of Elijah Surratt. Let's go with Jacoby Lane. He was drafted higher.
Also, Saquon on a worse offense? Who are you questioning he's on a worse offense? We got
Jack Bash, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fine. Who are you questioning that the Eagles are a better offense then? Is my question.
Than the Chiefs, probably.
Yeah, I prefer the Chiefs offense. I'll
take the Eagles offense all day there.
Give me the Chiefs. I'm fading Walker, Barkley, and Henry. Kind of just like a mix of everything there. Right?
Yeah.
Take off your Cowboys jersey when making an Eagles take. Again, I'm not wearing a Cowboys jersey, but thanks for your input, brother.
There's no shot you're fading Henry. I'm going full. So my team
I like Henry
league last year was called Team Unk, but I actually might be drafting like one this year.
Dude, I have Henry ranked at 17.
Yeah, I'm done doubting Derrick Henry. I'm done. I've been done for 2 years. I haven't doubted Derrick Henry in 2 years. So I'm Barkley and Henry. I'm not doubting those guys. Not a chance.
Then the Chiefs?
Yes. Better O-line.
I mean, respectfully,
wide receivers and healthy quarterback. That's a reasonable
respectfully. I don't care if Hurts is healthy. You can put 30% of Patrick Mahomes out there. He's going to give you a better shot to win than Hurts.
Dude, that's just Mahomes timeline-wise has a very, very live chance of starting on PUP.
If he starts on the PUP, obviously I can change my tune a little bit. I'm projecting that he's going to be available week 1.
Okay, well,
if you don't project that, then so be it. Everything we've heard from Chiefs camp has been positive. But again, if you're worried about that, then obviously move Walker down a couple spots. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, James was quite worried about the timeline because it was an LCL and ACL reconstruction.
I also agree with this. The Eagles offensive line has been banged up. Lane Johnson at this point, I can't rely upon to play. It's kind of at this point the Tyron Smith thing where you can't project him for more than 15 games because he's constantly dealing with neck issues.
Yeah.
Is that crazy to say that Lane Johnson is just the new Tyron Smith in that regard?
Yeah. And this is Sawyer. This is precisely why I'm of the opinion that instead of taking Jonathan Taylor in round 1, I would very easily take Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry in round 2 because they both project on better teams. And I think all three of them are very good running backs.
Then who's then Jonathan Taylor?
Then JT. I think that JT, Barkley, and Henry are all very similar bets, but Barkley and Henry go around later on better teams.
Yeah. I guess my take is Jonathan Taylor can access that legendary efficiency that I don't think that Saquon can anymore.
I think that's probably reasonable, but to be honest, 2,000 carries into his career on a Colts offense that might be missing Alec Pierce and got rid of Michael Pittman, and I don't think he's going to access that either.
So I think that's totally fair. I just think as much as we can say, there's a lot more risk in the projection this year, it's enough for me to have him ranked more so at the 10 range as opposed to 6 or 7 like he goes in ADP. At the same time, we do have to acknowledge when the offense was healthy last year, they were the number 1 team in EPA. Jonathan Taylor was a 27-point per game running back. Like, even though we think that that's a very unlikely outcome of happening, the fact that we had seen it last year, say Daniel Jones does return healthy, the offense is back to maybe not number 1, but top 5 to 10 status hypothetically. Like, there is a pro scenario where Jonathan Taylor, 5.6 yards per carry, clear leading rusher in the league, scoring 24 or 25.
Which is why I can't bury Taylor beyond where I have him now. He could make me look stupid by just being very good and making the Colts offense better than I think it can be.
Citing Pro Bowls and All Pros at this point, especially considering both of those players have dealt with significant injuries since those All Pros were handed out, to me, I think is outlandish. Lane Johnson literally hurt his neck. Landon Dickerson, what is going on with him? He got put on IR, didn't look nearly like himself last year as opposed to he did the year before. All I'm saying is I don't think projecting the Eagles to get back to 2024 status is reasonable in terms of their offensive line. On top of that, the biggest elephant in the room, how does it look without Jeff Stoutland? Jeff Stoutland's arguably the best offensive line coach of all time.
Yeah, I mean, they're ranked 7th in offensive line rankings according to ESPN right now. Kansas City, to give you an idea, is ranked 10th.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the Walker versus Barkley.
They're close offensive lines. I think the ceiling relies on KC, though, because it's like, what if Jawan Taylor does take a big step? Like, that's kind of projecting he just has an average, I guess, second year because, or not Jawan Taylor, off the first round, Josh Simmons. Yeah, fuck, my bad. Josh Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, he's also dealt with a lot of stuff in his career. It's very possible he just misses time like usual.
Well, because I know he was playing through the knee injury last year as a rookie, so I'm curious to see what it looks like this year.
Yeah, I'm just kind of lower on Kansas City in general. I don't think Kansas City's like Kansas City hasn't been. When was the last time Kansas City was a top 5 scoring offense?
I just think part of that is like they haven't had a real back in 3 years. Like I think adding Ken Walker itself, the amount of explosives he can generate, huh?
Neither of the Texans, which is why I'm on Montgomery.
Yeah, no, reasonable. Getting nuked by hammers last year. Yeah, that was tough watching JT do that against me. It's pretty much expected for Danny to hate on the Eagles. I mean, I love Mekhi Lemon. I don't know where you're getting that. I think Jalen Hurts is overvalued. I think Saquon Barkley's overvalued. I love Devontae Smith and I love Mekhi Lemon.
How many times do you think in the last 4 years the Kansas City Chiefs have been a top 15 scoring offense?
Again, I don't think it's relevant because I also think there's changing context every year. Xavier Worthy's healthy this year. Again, let me finish. Xavier Worthy wasn't healthy last year. They finally have a real running back in the backfield. Like, I think just taking historical split as opposed to actually evaluating what's at
last year. Mahomes was healthy. Like,
yeah, okay. And again, Xavier Worthy, what if he's healthy and he looks like the flashes that we saw in year 1? Like, I think there's just more offensive upside than just saying, oh, what they finished the last 4 years is going to be what we see this year. To me, that's lazy.
I mean, 15th, and 21st is what they've been the last 3 years. And
I would probably have them 10 to 12.
I love Xavier Worthy as much as anybody. He's not elevating them from 15th to 2nd.
I'm not saying that, but I would have them about 10 to 12. I don't have the Eagles as a top 10 offense in my league or in my rankings.
Okay.
I don't think that's outlandish either to say the Chiefs would project better.
Like, it's not outlandish to say they would project better. I'm kind of the opinion that if you're low on the Eagles, you should probably be low on the Chiefs too.
I mean, it's just relative to expectation. I'm not low on the offense overall. In terms of the expectation, if they're the 7th or 8th projected offense, I think they're closer to 13th to 15th. I don't think that's crazy to say.
They are 7th, according to Mike Clay's projections.
Yeah, and I would just have them more so in like the 12 to 15 range and the Chiefs in the 10 to 12 range. That's the only difference.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying they're everything, but I mean, would you say that the Chiefs are better off right now than they were last year? Like, Mahomes wasn't coming off a knee injury last year.
So assuming that he's there in year 1, in week 1, I genuinely do believe adding a guy like Ken Walker and getting Xavier Worthy back instantly increases the ceiling of the explosives.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Because I do think that they had
the clock here.
All right, let's make a pick first.
I would go Amon-Ra pretty easily. We almost got McCaffrey at 109. That would have been insane.
I mean, my vote would be Lamb, obviously, but they're back-to-back for me. I don't mind going Amon-Ra.
Let's balance Danny's portfolio with Amon-Ra a little bit.
I don't mind it. Not outlandish. It's just wrong. I mean, I guess we'll see, brother. I guess we'll see.
I'm curious.
New offensive coordinator, passing game was non-existent down the stretch. Like, I think there's a lot more learning curve than you're given aspect to. But it's fine. We'll see. A lot higher on Worthy. It's not even about being a lot higher on Worthy. It's about an aspect of the Chiefs offense that was missing last year. You had your, secure the first down chain movers. You had Rashid Rice. You had Kareem Hunt on short yardage. You had Travis Kelce. Like, those guys are short. Pardon?
Chase Brown?
Chase Brown works. You had your short to intermediate targets. Now you actually have guys that can create your 20-plus yard plays. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from the Chiefs.
They aren't better off. That's exactly why the K9 hate. I don't understand it. Chiefs got a lot better as well. It definitely did, but I think
they're the third best offense in the division. Personally, I think that the Broncos and Chargers will be better offenses than them.
I don't think that's a crazy take. I think they're I would probably have those guys as fringe top 10 offenses as well.
It's actually pissing me off how long Free Edward Scissorhands' name is on Underdog. His box is so big for the thing. Isn't that bugging you, or is it just me?
Bro, that's a huge box.
Is
I
it,
think we've
what
seen
is it?
that guy's name before.
Fredward Scissorhands, not Free Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like I know Mason posted if I go to the post in the on the Flock site, he posted the Vegas projections. Like I'm curious. Um you mentioned like the
Mike
Eagles.
Clay has 7th, and the Eagles were 9th in his projections.
So in terms of Vegas projections, the Chiefs are at 11 and the Eagles are at 13.
Wins or offense?
Projected
implied
offensive
totals.
projected offensive points per game.
Yeah, I think
11th and
actually
13th.
7th and 9th is just a little high on both offenses to me. I think that I would invert the Vegas projection. Like I'd probably have the Eagles 11 and like the Chiefs maybe somewhere between 13 and 16. Not, it's probably back weighted is the way I would look at it, because I actually do think that even if Mahomes plays in week 1, like here's the timeline to give you an idea. An ACL and LCL reconstruction surgery is roughly, according to Dr. Ferretti, a 9 to 10 month recovery. And if there's any setbacks, it's usually a 10 to 11 month recovery. Mahomes will be 7.5 months out from the injury at the start of training camp. So I think the problem that I'm having too is if Mahomes isn't out there, the offense could start slow. Yeah. And we're also going to have no clarity from our own fantasy draft standpoint until, because they're not going to play him in preseason games. He's going to be in a non-contact jersey. Like
if it comes to that, and it's a lot more pessimistic, he's going to be available week 1. Like
that's just what the timelines say is all I'm saying.
What I'm saying though is if that's the case, and if that's the narrative, the storyline come August, I don't mind moving Walker down to like 18. Like, I don't think that's outrageous to say if you're already factoring it now, why you'd be lower on Walker. I'm just not really factoring it in as much. I do think, like, again, it'll be a changing thing. Like, if it comes August and we're worried and we don't have that clarity at that point, I'll adjust him down, to the bottom of the tier. I'll probably put HN. I'll probably put Henry above him because they would just be safer clicks at that point.
Yeah, I guess based on the timeline, I'm already projecting that we'll have a lot less clarity on Mahomes' injury throughout training camp, because I don't see why they would put him out there 7.5 months removed from the injury. Do we want to take a neighbor share here? This is kind of a decent price to get him at 310.
Yeah, let's mix him in at 34.
I haven't taken him very much at all.
Yeah, he's clearly got the most upside of any receiver in this range, and maybe we can anchor back with the Kyron or Javonte falling. I'd like that.
I think what I talked about with Freddie too is when you take neighbors on teams like this, like you go 8 wide receiver builds, you take some safer guys, you take less rookies, you try and advance neighbors, because that's going to be the problem in a contest like this. Is if neighbors is out for 6 games and ramps up for 3 games after that, he's gonna be hard to advance. So if you can hit on some late round guys and don't draft a bunch of rookies and stuff that are gonna be zeros, then if you can advance neighbors, he could be huge.
Also, Sawyer, real quick, I do think this is in the range of outcomes. 40 plus touchdowns, 4,500 plus yards. We've seen him be a 35 plus passing touchdown quarterback. What if this is just the best offense we've seen with the Cowboys, the best iteration? The offensive line's young. Maybe they take a step up. Second year with Clayton Adams operating the offensive line, more continuity with Schottenheimer as the coach. I totally think it's in the range of outcomes where the Cowboys are the number 1 offense and Dak has an MVP statistical year.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to go? I don't want to take Scadaboo here. I think I'd be fine going Ladd if you want to go with McConkey. Or I don't think we could take the risk on Jacobs with neighbors.
Want to push Loveland up, or do you want to take a receiver?
Definitely not.
We'll go Ladd then.
Yeah,
okay, sure.
I don't think when you take neighbors, I don't think you're in a situation where you have the luxury of taking an early onesie.
I just think because we have a Monra, like we could even out a little bit.
Yeah. One thing that I've learned over the last couple of years playing
100% Mason.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, 1000%. One thing I've learned over the last couple of years on Underdog is you really do have to plan your entire draft strategy around a player like Neighbors. If you're getting a discount on, and last year it was Rice because he was suspended 6 games. If you're getting a discount on a player who would be going, let's say, where would Neighbors be going? Early second round if he was healthy right now, if not late first round? Like, if you're going to take that discount and try and make up the CLV of like where he'd be drafted once healthy, you need to plan your entire draft strategy around that one player. And you can't deviate from that strategy, because otherwise you're just going to have a dead team if Neighbors is drawing zeros for 7 or 8 games.
Well, one of my favorite strategies to counteract a Neighbors pick, and I actually did this in the big dog, but just given how low the opportunity cost is, if you tack on like an 18th round Darnell Mooney or an 18th round Darius Slayton or whatever wide receiver you believe in after Neighbors,
especially if you think the Giants will still be good while he's off the field. I tend to think they might be kind of disappointing this year relative to expectations, but If you think the Giants will still be good without Neighbors for sure, then like, you take Dart and whatever, Mooney later on in the draft.
Yeah. Honestly, when it comes to Tedero and McMillan, give me Carnell Tate straight up. So
yeah, I would take like the guys that went after him. I would take Waddle and JMO and sleep like a baby doing so over Tedero and McMillan. I would take Mike Evans over him too. Who went after him? It's not like I don't think Tet's a bad pick. I think he actually went around where I would have him ranked at 44.
Yeah, same.
I just think that because I've sat down and done the Carolina Panthers projections, it's very difficult to get Bryce Young to 4,000 passing yards and 7+ yards per attempt. And, based on historical averages, the only way you can love Tedero McMillan, in my opinion, is if you think that Bryce takes a significant step this year.
So, shout out James from Twitter.
Okay.
Y'all tripping.
What are the board here? I want to have some time to plan this before. Yeah, so I would love either of these running backs if they fall to us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Tuner Price for sure.
I do think both of them would be my preferences for sure. Yeah,
I'm on the same page. Also, if you, so the thing is, Carnell Tate Going's tough too. Your thought on Tedero McMillan's or McMillan's ceiling realistically is going to come down to how far of a split you view him and Coker. Because if you think he is the unquestioned one in the offense, he does have a high ceiling. He's got 160, 170 targets here. And I would go Tootin.
Okay. Yeah, let's go Tootin first. I think
we could be the CLV play too, given the current buzz.
And also because we have Neighbors, he's probably going to be better right away than Price would be as a rookie.
Yeah. But going back to that, your thoughts on Tedero McMillan's ceiling is really going to come down to what you think the target share split can be. If you think he could be a 28, 29, 30% target share player, yeah, he can absolutely cook. For me personally, I view Coker as the 1B or the close 2 in the offense. I really do think they could be close in points per game this year.
Do we want to take Burrow? Because we need to advance Neighbors, and that's a good way to do that. Or do you want to take like Warren or something?
I like the receiver with Tyson or Watson personally.
I wouldn't take the rookie because of Neighbors.
Okay, Watson. We'll go Watson then.
That's fine.
Then we can get a 2 or 3 quarterback build. Still take like Goff. Still take like Jordan Love. And really,
like I said, when I'm taking Neighbors, I'm thinking about Neighbors every single pick. I'm like, okay, how do I advance Neighbors? How do I advance Neighbors? How do I advance Neighbors? Which usually is going to mean like what has higher advance rates, Danny? 3 or 2 tight end builds, 3 or 2 quarterback builds. Like I'm building 3 quarterback and 3 tight end builds to make sure I can get Neighbors through.
So let me counter one thing. Because we have a realistic shot at Herbert falling back, I think the opportunity cost of Watson plus Herbert to me is more beneficial than Joe Burrow plus whatever receivers there's at 82.
My counter to that would be I would have taken Burrow and Herbert to make sure we get Neighbors through.
Spicy. I mean, like if you want to take 2 quarterbacks, fair, but I do think also taking a receiver that we know can score points, give valuable targets, can make up for not having Neighbors early.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the structure that I would go for is exactly the structure on the screen. 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 3 tight ends.
Yeah, I would be
with Neighbors because we have 3 receivers that can hit our lineup right away other than Neighbors. And we also, because we took him, I think we should go with 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. Because they're both higher advance rate.
Corey, you're going to take this? He's implying that you don't give Bryce credit.
So to give you an idea of my opinion of Bryce Young, I have him projected for 527 pass attempts, 65.85% completion percentage, career high, 3,671 passing yards, career high, 7.0 yards per attempt, career high, 25 touchdowns, career high. I'm projecting him to take a step forward. And I'm still at 13.14 fantasy points per game for Tedero McMillan. Now, if you said Jalen Coker's dust and he's not going to do shit and Tedero McMillan's going to out-target him by a country mile, you'd be basing that off of nothing that's happened so far in both of their careers, because when they've been on the field together, that hasn't been the case. But if that's what your opinion was, I could see how you could get to Tedero McMillan being a 14 or 15 point per game receiver. I just don't personally think that he's significantly better than Coker. He's better than Coker, but he also plays a harder role than Coker. Last season, and probably in the projections as well, Jalen Coker catches almost 15% more of his targets than Tedero McMillan. Part of that is because Bryce Young isn't as great of a quarterback passing to an X receiver who's working downfield. And part of that is also Tedero McMillan, not always being where he needed to be or winning at the catch point or some of those types of things. If you think he takes a significant step forward and Bryce takes one too, I can see where you get a 3rd round price tag on him. I just don't personally see it for McMillan at this point in time. And I like Bryce, and I think he can be better. No,
I think either. I mean, the good fallback would be Lawrence, and you backdoor it with like a Travis Hunter or something.
I'm cool with, again, I wouldn't take Hunter on a neighbor's team, but I'd be cool with Lawrence for sure here.
Yeah, let's go Lawrence, and then maybe even Tucker Kraft or Jaden Reed. Or do you think we need a running back, and you like just would pound the table with Rico Dowdle or something?
I don't think we need a running back. We could go Harvey if we wanted to. I just don't really like Harvey.
Me neither. I'm not.
Him. My vote would be for Godwin because he's a sexless advance rate wide receiver for us.
Yeah, because Tucker Kraft also, you don't know the.
I don't want to take Kraft on a neighbor's team for sure.
I think that's reasonable.
I think that the play on this is definitely
do the thing
tight
and
ends and the Strange, Barner, K. Dot and types.
We could just do the thing and take Dart.
I just don't like Dart very much, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
Even though it's a neighbor's team, and obviously they're correlated, I just don't like Dart's price.
See, I'm definitely a little bit more worried on God. Like,
I'd be fine with Addison too.
Sort by my rankings real quick. I am curious who would I have here. Okay, so Pittman, I have pushed up.
That's Mike. That's mid Wilson.
Oh, Michael Wilson. Oh, okay. Which I would push for Wilson, but I know you.
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I'd go Addison, Godwin, or Pittman. Of the
who would be my next rated
as well?
Who's my next rated receiver after Wilson? Addison. Okay, we could do that if you want.
Let's go Addison. Yeah, let's go Addison. I'm fine with that.
I'm a little bit worried about the raw target share, especially in a redraft context. Like I'd probably have him lower in redraft than I do in best ball, but
he is
objectively
historically a great best ball receiver though. Like he's been very good spike week wise, but not as good, every week target share, startable, predictable kind of player.
I'm fine with Addison on this type of team in the 8th round, but in a redraft, I don't think I would take him until at least the 10th, just because like Jawan Jennings is there, and what if Hawkinson looks a little better, and obviously Jefferson's going to command such targets, but given the fact that he's a big play receiver and what could potentially be a bounce back offense if Kyler Murray looks like 2022 Kyler Murray, then at that point it's like, okay, Jordan Addison, we've seen the 4 for 153 and 2 before. We've seen the he scored on a 28-yard jet sweep or some bullshit. Like Addison always just finds a way to fucking score touchdowns in random areas.
He's one of the worst players to roster in redraft because he is so hard to figure out when he's going to have good games. But he does have big games when he has big games. So he's a good flex option in redraft because if he's playing, the Jets or something, you'd be like, okay, like put him in my lineup, whatever. And in best ball, you're going to get all of the good and none of the bad. So that's why I actually really like him in best ball versus redraft. I also just think the Vikings offense in general will be kind of like that, where they're like, oh my God, the Vikings only scored 7 points this week or whatever. And then the next game they score like 30. Like, I think they might be very inconsistent because that's been kind of the MO of Kyler Murray's entire career. So
yeah, I don't mind that take either. Downs versus Addison. I think that's reasonable.
I would have been fine with either Addison, Godwin, or Pittman in that spot, just because I think we want to bank 5 to 8 good weeks in best ball while you have neighbors.
I kind of like this theory, by the way. The only reason why Lawrence is so cheap is because people don't want to click on this profile pic.
Oh, because of the haircut? That is facts.
How does Michael Wilson go behind Worthy? I'm definitely in on Michael Wilson. Corey isn't.
I just think Michael Wilson sucks.
But I mean, you also project freaking like 28% of the targets for Marv. So
that's not true. I have 23% of the targets for Marv and 17.21% of the targets for Michael Wilson, which is actually less than the split was when both were healthy.
My bad. We're taking 2 game splits instead of just acknowledging in totality that Michael Wilson.
2.5 years of Michael Wilson's career, by the way.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with LaFleur.
Damn it. All these running backs,
advanced
rate guys are getting fucking sniped.
Touche LaFleur.
Cram it in your cram hole, LaFleur. Hear me out. We take Goff.
Goff. Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
and then we kind of need a running back.
We do. Like, we're gonna need 5 RBs as well.
Yo, no matter what we start off talking about, it always ends up in Michael Wilson versus Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. I'd be fine with Myers even too, because I think Myers fits this team really well, but we've already taken 5 receivers, so I don't really want to go overkill on that.
Like, I think I would, in this spot, I'd rather push like a Chad. Oh, Brooks already went. Never mind. I was going to say like Shaw. Yeah, well, obviously I'm saying if Shaw went, that's why.
Aaron Jones is also not bad for this team too.
Could make sense. We aren't
Myers went. Let's take White and hopefully one of the Vikings running backs falls back to us because I think they both fit this team really well.
So would you be opposed? I don't know what the math says, but Lawrence and Goff as your first two quarterbacks is probably a 3 quarterback build. Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kyler theoretically were to make it back to us, we'd have to consider him.
Yeah, we would. Do we have another stacking partner at receiver? McConkey's gone. St. Brown we have. Neighbors gone. Jordan Love. Yeah, Jordan Love would be a good one. Again, I really want to emphasize this point. If you take Malik Neighbors, you should take 3 quarterbacks better than the 3 that you need. Because the easiest way to improve your advance rate in Best Ball Mania is to have 3 quarterbacks hitting your roster consistently. Same with tight end. So getting Neighbors out of the first round of Best Ball Mania and into the semifinals is your number 1 goal when you take him.
Yeah. Also, George Kittle, I see chats talking by August, Kittle's ADP will be so much higher. I tend to agree. So I started taking him late in the cycle because realistically, I started my slow drafts. Some of them obviously waited to fill for a while, so they're kind of like not perfectly overlapped. In the first batch, I wasn't really taking a lot of Kittle because I was still concerned. But as we got more positive buzz on the potential recovery, obviously Dr. James sounded a little more enthusiastic in terms of his potential recovery.
Well, just with the speed bridge repairs in general are kind of just recovery timeline wise an easier transition. He didn't necessarily say, I want to just kind of say something that he didn't mention. He didn't necessarily say there wouldn't be a downtick in his productivity though. He did say,
even if he got 85% Kittle though, the risk at that ADP is worth it.
You're right, but like
what if he's like TJ Hawkinson
with chronic lower body injuries? Could be he's out of the lineup for a different reason.
That's like 2023 TJ Hawkinson,
right? But George Kittle is almost 34 years old.
Yeah.
If he's coming into the season compromised in any way, I'm not as worried about the Achilles as I was before, of course. But I am worried that he suffers a hamstring pull because he's trying to overcompensate.
Compensation.
Yeah.
That's real.
I have 8.1% substation to worry about. So
I have 8.1% Kittle.
I wonder if I wonder, so, Overzet does the best ball bros thing every year.
Yeah.
I guarantee the substation for Mike Evans makes it into it this year.
Have you guys taken Travis Hunter yet? I have taken a ton of Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I'm gonna tame like 20-15%, something like that.
Let's just say I'm like double that.
We can't take him here, can we?
Yeah, obviously we can.
On a neighbor's team.
On a team with Trevor Lawrence?
I would vote for sexless Jake Ferguson, and then if Hunter falls back to us at 135.
Dude, no.
Well, Travis Hunter's ADP is lower than where we're picking next.
Okay, if we miss out on him, it's on you. Let's do it.
Okay, let's go Ferguson.
I would go Kincaid over Ferguson, but for sure.
Danny, I'm 99% of the time down to take Travis Hunter. Just on a Malik Neighbors team, I'm scared.
Hey, if he doesn't make it back, it's not on me there. It's hard not to take Yeah, I'm on the same page.
I would also be okay with taking Kincaid as well, because again, I want a 3 tight end build, and I want to be kind of strong at tight end.
I capitulated once. I can't do it again.
If I'm saying Hunter goes and Kincaid,
okay.
I'd also be fine taking Goddard as well if Hunter goes here.
I'm taking a lot of Coker too, but I would go Hunter if he falls, given the correlation. Yeah, easy click.
All right, let's do it. I hope he doesn't screw us with zeros when we need to advance neighbors. That's just my own take.
Yeah, it's spicy. Yeah.
I'm very much okay taking lots of Travis Hunter. It's just on these teams, I'm scared.
When we have Trevor Lawrence, I think you just got to bite the bullet and take him.
Do we, so we have Goff and Lawrence as our quarterbacks, right? So Strange, we can pretty much earmark as one of the 3 tight ends that we're going to take. We
definitely have to take one at the next turn.
I would love to get another one here too. Goddard probably won't fall, but like a Chig or a Henry or somebody to go along. Like I would love to double tap tight ends here, because I do think that you need 3 solid tight ends to advance neighbors.
I can confidently tell you, Flockonomous, I would not be able to have pulled off that backflip. So that's definitely something you got on me.
He used to do that.
Yeah, he did it in his clip.
Oh, true.
A backflip. And I'm like, fuck, like I'd break my, I'd pull a Justin Gaethje and almost break my neck if I went for a backflip. Not sure if you saw that. After he won, he did a backflip off the cage, nearly landed right on his head.
That's fun.
I know Spicy knows what I'm talking about too. With Gaethje, that was insane.
Yeah,
man, dude, Ilya's face was cooked. He broke both orbital bones. Like, that's
tough one,
painful. Dude, yeah, no, I also did. That was fucking scary. Jumped off the top of the cage bush and almost landed on his neck.
That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, after 4 rounds of fighting Ilya, and this guy's freaking almost breaking his neck. That would be so Justin Gaethje though, Nick. If he won a grueler best fight of his career and then just broke his neck because he did a backflip off the top of the cage.
I should mention, because Nick is in the chat right now, the Flock League audition part 1 is recorded. We recorded it last night. We went through, I believe, the top 10 teams that were on the site and kind of, graded them and whatnot. And we determined our first set of finalists. So definitely keep an eye out for that if you guys have submitted a Flock League clip already. And of course, we're going to do that a couple more times. So keep submitting clips.
Yeah.
Go to flockleague.com for all the details as far as,
so we, like Corey said,
how to vote and stuff.
We did the top 10 upvoted clips that were already on the site. Obviously, if you had one that was in the 11 to 20 range, unfortunately, we didn't get to see them because.
Do you want to take Sadiq and then take Strange with our next pick, or should we take Strange first?
Let's go Strange first. We only did the ones that were top 10 graded on the site, but like we said, we're going to be doing 3 or 4 batches of these.
Yeah, the goal I think is to have a total of somewhere between 10, like 8 and 10 finalists, I think.
Yeah. So with that being said, if we didn't watch your clip on the first one, feel free to submit another or, tag us or whatever the case may be. Again, like we don't have any real control in grading the clips. Mason just picks them.
We might have control in bringing clips forward in the future episodes, though. We definitely submit another clip. You got more creativity in the tank. The more we have to go off of, like if I can give you guys a sneak peek, most of the criticism from people not liking certain clips was, okay, well, he kind of showed us his humor and his entertainment value, but we don't know his personality. Or it was the opposite, where he showed us his personality, but we didn't get to see his humor and his entertainment value. So if you have one clip kind of, showing off your humor and your entertainment value, and then the next clip is kind of more personality or, production value or something like that, the more boxes you check, the better, obviously. So let's go. Do you want to go Sadiq here, or do you want to take Pacheco?
Pacheco would make sense too. We could go Sadiq. Because we're wanting upside at tight end. We have stability guys with Ferguson and Strange. I like Sadiq.
Let's take Sadiq. We can. Okay. I mean, mathematically, we could do a 2 quarterback build if we had to.
Unfortunately, by the way, like this was objectively a factor. If people had go vote for me, like a lot of those people would vote their guy 10, and then other people 1. So I noticed that on the site that some of the ranges of scores were kind of skewed a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. They're like,
we just wanted to involve the audience.
There's nothing we can do to stop that, especially people who, have followings and can say, everyone go vote for me or whatever. But ultimately, like, if you have a good clip, people will vote for it. So just focus on what you can control, which is the quality. And also too, we'll make sure that people who posted good clips, even if they got buried in the results, will be seen and have an opportunity to be voted on. Because, like, again, there's probably 3 or 4 clips that didn't get shown in the first audition video that I'm definitely going to fight for, at least in the next video. So we'll make sure we get to more clips, and hopefully more people submit after the first edition of the video is out. Because I'd imagine there's some people that watch the YouTube channel but don't have Twitter or don't know about the Flock League giveaway until the first audition video goes out.
Yeah, and that's part of it too. Maybe also people want to see like a refresher. They see, oh, this was finally posted. It gives me more courage to post a pic or post a video on the socials, because that was another factor too. Mason mentioned last year that there was like email submissions that he'd open up. Like, I feel like for some people, it's a lot easier to submit an email with their clip as opposed to posting it on their own social platform. So
yeah, I would. The only thing I would say about that though is that if you're uncomfortable showing yourself on a social platform in front of very minimal
the fit would be
people, where you don't have a following on socials, how are you going to feel when there's potentially hundreds of thousands of people in the comments talking about you? So that's my only thing with that.
Yeah. I would say definitely like there were some standout videos in the first batch that we did, but obviously you guys will see that.
There were some great. I gave out, what did I give out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scores of 8 or higher. So,
I think I was on the same page. I didn't write mine down. Did you write yours down?
I wrote mine down. Yeah. Oh, okay. I wrote them down before because I had seen all the clips already. So I wrote them all down before, and I wanted to hear some of the banter and the talk. If anything got me to change my opinion, and then I would change my score up or down if somebody made a really good point, for example. And I was like, I didn't actually think of that. That's a good point. Maybe I'll move him down one or up one or something.
So we need running backs.
Let's grab Tucker. Let's grab Tucker. Tucker's a great fit for this team.
Yeah, sure. We can do Tucker. What are our top guys?
Yeah, running back's not looking like an excellent. I mean, Singleton would be a good fit for this team too because he's got super high upside.
You know what? If we wanted to do it, I would sign off on
Sexless
here. I would sign off
on Kamara.
Given this specific team, we need.
I'd be fine with. Yeah, I mean, you're right. We probably don't want to take the risk that Singleton's a zero and
never
Kamara
mind.
just went, unfortunately. So,
yeah, I wouldn't take like.
Who else do we have at running back if you just go by the RBs?
Wait, sorry, zoned out.
Yeah, let's.
Patron.
Do we take
Singleton? I like Jordan James too later on if we wanted to round out the core.
Yeah.
I've been taking him over Kalon.
Yeah, I would go with Singleton
now.
Here. Let's go Singleton.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have one more roster or two more roster spots. How many roster spots do we have? Okay, so it says we should draft another receiver. We should probably.
Do we want another quarterback? I think we're pretty good now.
Who's available, I guess, is the only thing I would say. Because I think we should draft another quarterback. But if we have no stacking and none of that stuff correlated, then I think it's fine if we don't.
Also, I'm actually on the Isaiah Davis over Braylon Allen side. I know I'm on an island there, but I just think he's been the more efficient player in the last 2 years when both of them were in their first and second year. And I do think he has a more projectable 3-down ceiling if anything were to happen to Brees. So I'm on an island there. I've actually been mixing in the Isaiah Davis 18th round, but if you're on Braylon Allen, I do think it's a decent take to say that.
I would say I'm more on Braylon Allen, not because I think he's significantly better than Isaiah Davis. It's that Braylon Allen is still barely 23 years old, and it seems like he's the favorite for the ball carrier role if anything were to happen to Brees. And I care more actually about the handcuff upside than I do about anything else.
I just think he would be far more ineffective in that role compared to what I think of Isaiah Davis. I think Isaiah Davis could be like Algier.
You're right. I just don't think Isaiah Davis ever gets a 3-down workload unless both of them are injured.
Maybe again, I just think it would be a little premature in saying, like, I think it's easy to say that Braylon would be the early favorite. There's a full camp to play out. They're both going into year 3. And I do think they're both
going into year 3, but Braylon Allen is the same age now as Isaiah Davis was as a rookie.
So I get that, but on a pure touch on a per touch basis, since they both came into the league, it hasn't been close.
No, it hasn't been close. But like I said, I think of the two of them, which one of them is more likely to take a big jump in terms of their play? It is Allen because of his age.
But he would need to take a big jump. I mean, we're talking about what's been a largely inefficient running back versus what's been one of the most efficient running backs on small usage in the league.
Right, but he's like the same age as Jonah Coleman, Emmett Johnson, and Mike Washington, who were in this draft class.
I just don't want to underrate a guy who had 28 targets and 5.5 yards per carry in the limited opportunity he had last year.
He's a good player, man. I just don't know if there's like an actionable take on Isaiah Davis right now, like, because I'm not going to probably waste picks on him. I think he's probably honestly a zero. I think he's more of just a dynasty stash than anything.
What the take I think is you're taking an upside shot on a talented player, and you're hoping the ambiguity in the backfield sorts itself out.
Okay, so we got one more. I think we stick with 2 quarterbacks. Do we want to take a receiver here, or do we want to take another running back?
Let's take the receiver first, and then see come back around.
I'd be fine with Franklin.
I don't want Franklin. I would go Sarad, or I would go with Noel.
I mean, Noel and Sarad. The only worry with them is that they could draw 0. That's why I said Franklin.
I think Franklin can draw 0 too.
Oh, no way, dude. He was fucking 12 point per game receiver last year.
Again, I think Pat Bryant could take some snaps from him. I think realistically now you have Jalen Waddle in there to take 25+% of the snaps. I think you think Franklin's a better player than I do. I also think Jalen Waddle ideally would play the role that Franklin played last year. Like Pat
Bryant makes Michael Wilson look good. He's like the shitty version of Michael Wilson.
I just frankly think you have an outside X receiver with Sutton. You have a vertical Z receiver in Jalen Waddle. I think from an ideal 3 wide receiver.
Hold that thought. We got to make a running back pick here.
Let's go. Lloyd.
Who do we want?
James.
Lloyd. Situation.
Lloyd or James? Blue. What are you feeling?
I think we need somebody who hits
Lloyd, James,
our
or Blue
lineup
probably.
Early, because Tucker and Singleton are our ceiling swings. I think we need a sexless here.
What about Lloyd then? Or Hill?
Lloyd went, I think, right?
Justice Hill?
Hill's fine. Did Lloyd go? Oh, Lloyd's there. I'd be fine with Lloyd.
Let's go Lloyd. Oh, Spicy lost him.
Might be a race on the clock here. That's fine. Justice Hill's sexless.
Now you're
is
good.
cool.
Yeah, it's Spicy. No,
We needed a sexless. We needed a sexless running back though, because Singleton and Tucker hypothetically should hit our lineup more than they're going to. But if they do hit our lineup, it'll be good.
We always get into fucking Bryant versus Franklin too. All my cases is if they're running in 3 wide receiver sets, who do I think is the most unique skill set to fill the 3 wide receiver sets? You have your big X, you have your vertical Z. I do think Pat Bryant can play big slot. That's all I'm saying. Like I feel like they're going to mix up their looks. They're going to have Waddle in the slot at times, Franklin playing vertical Z. They're going to have Waddle on the outside, Pat Bryant playing in the slot. We're going to have Marvin Mims packages. I ultimately just think the wide receiver 3 is probably going to be a rotation of 3 guys.
That would be true if one of them was not way more proven than the other guys, which is
It's all about
very
role.
true of Franklin.
It's
He was
all-
literally like a
it's all about
20%
role.
targets per route run receiver last year.
It's all about role. His role is instantly impacted by the bring in the acquisition of Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I agree with that. What I don't agree with is saying that him and Bryant and Mims are on the same playing field.
I said they're going to rotate snaps because it's going to be a wide receiver 3 by committee based off the look that Sean Payton wants. If you want your screen offense, you bring in Mims. You want Jalen Waddle on the outside playing vertical routes, you bring in your big slot with Bryant. You want Jalen Waddle playing that vertical slot role, playing that underneath role, yak role, then you bring in a Troy Franklin and stretch the field. I think they're just going to be used in combination.
Maybe. I'm not going to argue it anymore.
Like I think they're all going to eat into each other's snaps.
Is there any puppies live right now?
I'd hope so. No, I'm kidding.
Puppy 2 is live. Okay, if anybody wants to join the Puppy 2, head to the main lobby of Underdog, of course, and obviously if you're new, the link's in the chat, and hit enter in the next 10 seconds. Spicy's going to join the draft in 10 seconds from now, so go to the main lobby, hit enter in about 5 seconds from now, and you should get into the draft with us. And what sexless means basically is a player that's boring and could hit our lineup, but we don't feel good about the upside. So Alvin Kamara, boring.
He's sexless.
Yeah, Christian Kirk, boring.
Let's just say, you had a couple drinks, you feel like texting her, and then you look at a player's picture and instantly you just want to go to bed. Like you see Alvin Kamara at 10 p.m. and you're thinking about linking someone. Instantly, you're like, actually, I think I'm just gonna stay home. Like I'm out of the mood.
You go from demon time to taking a bath pretty quick.
Yeah. Contemplating life.
Yeah.
Post nut clarity, except you didn't have the nut.
Yeah, it's you make a chamomile tea instead. Yeah, that's where it's at instead of going demon time. Just straight up, just flaccid.
Some picks get you hard, others get you flaccid. Like Alvin Kamara is a flaccid pick.
Danny literally goes 40% exposure on every player that gets him the opposite of flaccid, and then will take 0% of the players that don't.
Dude, Mason was joking about it on stream yesterday. He's like, dude, like Danny just takes his guys, like these ownerships, because he's pointing out like, oh, I don't like going like above like 20 to 25% on certain players. I'm like, I'm the little guy. If I like a player and I think they're undervalued in value, like or in ADP, I will just take them a ton. Like CeeDee Lamb is the light to my Campbell. He is definitely a big time inspiration. That's how you end up with 27.9% of a first round player, Corey.
Yep.
Remember when Busch couldn't stop saying that about Michael Wilson last year, and then he was a league winner? maybe Busch is just fulfilling his agenda.
Well, this is kind of why I'm in on certain sexless players, is because I kind of just like roles. You know what I mean? Like, in Michael Wilson, for what it's worth, like I would have said that about him last year. I think I was above market on Michael Wilson. Like, I actually had a decent amount of shares of him because I liked the fact that he was a clear-cut starting receiver. But now he's a clear-cut starting receiver who's just as good as he was last year, but he's going around 7, so I'm not fucking taking him.
Bro, Christian Kirk, the double condom was like an all-time bit from us.
Yeah,
for sure.
Dude, my highest drafted receiver last year was Alec Pierce, who's the definition of a sexless pick. But
I don't know, the guy that gets like 20 yards per target and catches down.
But nobody wanted him last year.
Fair. It's all just because we all wanted Josh Downs to be that.
I know, but that's why I drafted a lot of Pierce. And Pierce is now the same player he was last year, except 10 rounds more expensive, and I haven't drafted him once.
Busch is indeed a fan of the double bag.
I am, yeah. I don't get a lot of JT. I'd be okay taking him past ADP here.
If you want to do a capitulation, I'm cool with it, but
I just frankly think that I'm never going to get Jonathan Taylor if I don't take him when he slides.
Sure. Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like,
we have
portfolios that I have to do that.
I already have almost 28% Lamb. I can capitulate.
28. That's just irresponsible, dude. You can laugh all you want. That's just fucking stupid. Why are you taking 28% of any first round player?
If he's the best pick on the board, I got to do my due diligence.
Yeah, and that was also a large part of why I had a lot of Pierce too, is because I had so much Daniel Jones.
That shocked you to your core.
28% of a first round player is just irresponsible best ball drafting. I know it's because Lamb is like your god and you like jerk off to his pictures every night, but like,
Corey,
still irresponsible.
Corey, if you can consistently get your 106 at 110 or 111, wouldn't you have a ton of them?
Yeah, but I don't think I would exceed like 17%.
Yeah, that hurt Danny. I saw it.
So I would go Achane here. We want to go to straight anti-Danny team because the ADP slipped here as well, and I also just think he's the best player on the board, other than Chase Brown, who I have.
I mean, if I'm going to take a Jonathan Taylor, I may as well also get a Devon Achane.
Yeah, might as well. This is the anti-FSE team right now.
Yeah, Mason's in here. When he saw that number on Lamb, he was fucking baffled.
It's more this that I have the problem with. You're gonna have 0% St. Brown. You're gonna have 0% Jonathan Taylor. You're gonna have 0% Justin Jefferson, Genty, whoever. Probably not Genty because you like him, but guys that are going in the range of Lamb. I think you can have your preferences. You're gonna obviously prefer certain guys, but I'm not in the first round. I'm not going below 5% on probably anybody, realistically, just because they're all such good players. That's the only place I'll do the non-live a little type of strategy. Because it's so dependent on what picks you're getting too. Like if you're pulling so many 106s or whatever, like you shouldn't be taking Lamb every time at 106.
An elite amount. Also, I haven't been getting a lot of 106s. It's most so when I get them at 108, 109, 110, 111.
What's your St. Brown, Jefferson, and JT?
I honestly just haven't
on all of those guys.
I honestly just haven't been getting a lot of number 6 or number 7s. I've only specifically taken Lamb over St. Brown a couple of times.
So what?
I don't have a lot of St. Brown at all.
But what are your exposures on them? I'm just curious.
I only have one share of St. Brown, and it's because I've literally only gotten 106 or 107 like 2 or 3 of my drafts.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of time to flatten those out, obviously, but
that's what I mean. Like, I don't mind adjusting back on my St. Brown because I want to get at least 6% of him. Like, I'm not going to be wanting to get out of there.
You could let it ride as well, just live a little, but
yeah. Jefferson too. I might get
28% St. Brown just to do the exact opposite of you.
I mean, given my luck from last year, that's not a bad strat.
Exactly. And also given how St. Brown is almost never a bad fantasy pick, it's not a bad strat. Imagine taking a guaranteed 20 point per game receiver all the time. It probably would be me because St. Brown's very clearly the best player in that area of the board.
Not guaranteed 20 points per game. Guaranteed 18 plus, sure. You're also factoring in his raw target share without Laporta on the field versus Lamb literally being hurt and still getting a 27.5% target share.
Okay.
By the way, when Lamb was healthy last year before the Cowboys were eliminated, it was almost 100 yards per game. Almost 100 yards per game, and you're getting that potential player at pick 9,
goes
pick 10,
wrong
pick
for
11.
CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys, though. So
yeah, but what if it doesn't? He had an AC joint sprain 2 years ago, and he had a freaking high ankle sprain last year. What if he's healthy?
GP wasn't on the field 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he was still getting a 27.5% target share with GP on the field last year,
which is what I haven't projected for. And he has 17.
No, you had him at 26.5. Okay, fair enough. But you also had him at like 83 yards per game when he averaged more than that last year, 10 yards more than that.
I mean, I also have Dak passing for 4,700 yards, which would be like the second best total of his career.
Yeah, I think it's more so just I think the Ferguson projection. I
guess if you really want to say Ferguson's a complete and utter dumpster fire and does absolutely nothing, I can see how you could get higher on Lamb and Pickens. I think it's more so like a good enough player to command like 15+% of the targets.
At the end of the day, like again, if you're going to be higher on Pickens and Ferguson,
what do we want to do here? I don't want to take Neighbors again because I don't want a lot of him. Devontae? I would go with McConkey or Higgins. Higgins would be my preference.
I'm cool with Higgins. I almost said Javonte. I'm like, oh, right, we have a running back start.
Yeah, let's go T. Let's go T.
Yeah, realistically, I think Dak's absolutely live to lead the league in terms of passing volume, and I think more so when Lamb's healthy, it's more of a 29 to 22% target share split as opposed to like a 27 to 26 or 27 to 25. I do think when Lamb's healthy, he's the
share do you think Jake Ferguson would have this year? Just out of curiosity.
So if I check the last couple of years, apply maybe a couple percent down tick because considering the Lamb injuries.
I can pull the splits with Lamb right now, actually.
Yeah.
Lamb. Okay. Jake Ferguson. I got it up right here. Jake Ferguson with Lamb healthy in the last 2 seasons?
I think a 13-14% target share would be fair for projection this year for Ferguson.
Okay. Well, in the last, I'm just going to
He's been at 16.8, 16.8, 16.9.
I know. I want to see with Lamb healthy what it's been.
Oh, fair enough.
With Lamb healthy in the last 2 years, he's had a 16.7% target share.
Yeah.
Lamb on the field.
It was probably more in 2024 than 2025, right? Because there was no Pickens.
Well, it's over the last 2 years. I like.
No, I know. I'm just saying the one with. I'm just saying like the one with no Pickens too, like for him.
Yeah, which is a factor because you got a season in here. 26 of the games.
Yeah,
it's a 26 game sample size. A large part of that would have came in 2024, like you said.
Let's go with receiver.
I'd be fine going Bird, Nagbuka, or even Jacobs. I'd be fine with.
I'd vote for Burden, but yeah,
we can go Burden. I'm not going to get a lot of Burden,
okay.
So
let's go. And this is also my point too. I just think, frankly, the knee injury caught up to him. He wasn't moving the same way. He was fumbling the football. I just think he's a player that is going to lose the coach's trust. And I could also see his snap share going down to where we see more Luke Schoonmaker. We see more Brevin Spanford. We see more multiple tight ends compared to just Ferguson being the main guy.
Well,
that's basically my point.
To be fair, I also have all of the other Cowboys tight ends projected for pretty much nothing. So that doesn't really affect the overall projection of Lamb and Pickens if you think the other tight ends take snaps away from Ferguson.
It's more so raw snaps, though. I can see the tight ends being on the field and maybe being used more as pass blockers compared to the route share that we see from Ferguson.
I guess, but I have Ferguson for a 16.5% target share. Like I said, in the last 2 years,
I think that's reasonable.
Which is that's why I use 16.5 is because that's what it's been the last 2 years with Lamb on the field. But
I think that's reasonable.
Tight end positions 19.5%.
So I think that's reasonable. I'd probably be at more of like a 13 to 15% range, but I don't think it's outlandish where you're
at. That's a pretty low projection for Ferguson, is all I'm saying. You're projecting a pretty steep fall off, I guess.
Well, I do think that steep fall off is in order if Pickens and Lamb are both healthy and on the field this year.
In 25,
because honestly, when I look at it,
I'm going to pull it without
real quick.
24.
Real quick, what I'll say is I actually you can say what you need to, and I'll pull up the split on my end.
Well, I'm going to pull the split with and without Lamb just in 2025.
I mean, obviously, I'm upset overall. Again, it's more so I just think he's going to be getting some snaps in the offense.
So
it's not that I think he's a great player.
Ferguson 15.8% target share just this year with Lamb on the field. Yeah, just this year, and Pickens played every game, so that was with both of them on the field.
Here, let me pull
15.8%. And again, second half of the season, Ferguson was useless. Like he was not only good at the beginning of the season, he was like one of the best tight ends in fantasy for 10 games.
Respectfully, he was useless because he was playing that bad in real life.
Right.
Like,
but
I'll tell you that as a
10
fan.
games of the season, he was not. He was banged up as hell throughout the season. Then he started playing poorly.
Sure, but also like he kind of just volumed his way there in the beginning of the year realistically. Like he was getting like 10, 11, 12 targets.
It takes volume away from these guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was also with no Lamb though, and they were a team that was down.
And his target share was with Lamb on the field, 15.8%.
Yeah, sure. Again, sure. I think it's gonna be 13 to 15% if everybody is healthy on that field because that's also partially high ankle sprain, post high ankle sprain splits with Lamb. And even still, by the way, with him coming off the sprained ankle, you're looking at 97 yards per game.
Yeah. Again, if you want to say that Lamb's going to have a sick season, that's going to hurt Ferguson for sure. I would go with Price. I imagine you're going to want to go Tate.
Yeah, I would go. I'm cool with either though. Especially if you can convince me that we can get Price and still get like BTJ, DJ.
I think we will personally. That's why I would go Price. I think it's going to fall off at running back.
I'm cool with that. What would you call this build, Corey?
This team?
What would you call this build? There was a specific name.
Oh, a full house.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I have a cool idea for the strategy video this year. Obviously, you guys know I do like the #1 draft strategy. I do it August 11th or whatever every year. It's a very in-depth research-based video, but I'm going to do a video like probably 2 weeks after it at the end of August called like the best strategy that I think, like just a specific name of strategy. And the strategy that I think is the best is I'm dubbing the full house, which is 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers through the first 5 rounds. And playing a running, like especially in standard, like regular redraft leagues, like on ESPN and Yahoo and Sleeper, where everyone has 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex or 2 flexes. I think that a full house is the way to go because you're going to get the top of the running back position and you'll still have the opportunity to grab your onesies late and grab your wide receivers in rounds 6 through 10.
So we'll make this pick, and then I'll quickly show a split over on the site just for some context in the Lamb versus
Okay,
St. Brown.
Tate might fall here, first of all. Damn it, I ruined
fuck
it.
me, man. I mean, we gotta go Burrow. We have Higgins.
I would go Harrison, but we can go Burrow. It's fine.
Burrow or Caleb? Would you prefer Burrow? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'd prefer Burrow.
Let's go Burrow then. So let me show this split on the screen just for context, right? So keep in mind, this is with Lamb playing a lot of that off the high ankle sprain. I used the splits in the games that Lamb was on the field and Dallas was still in the playoff contention. The reason why I say that, keep in mind, division right now, Eagles are projected 10.5 wins, Cowboys 9.5, two other teams in the division 7.5. I think it's going to be competitive down the stretch. On top of this, Amon-Ra had all this split, half of it without Sam Laporta. So I do think even at 31.7% target share, if Laporta's on the field, realistically, he could still be at 30%.
The number I gave him, by the way, just to give context to this, is 28.1%, which would be the lowest of his career.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to be quite 31.7%. Yeah. So even with the context that Lamb was coming off the high ankle sprain, that he was getting an overall lower share of the target share. At the same time, 9.9 versus 10.1, given the difference in pass split. Over 15 receiving yards per game. The only real difference here was the touchdown equity. And we would both argue that 0.3 touchdowns per game from Lamb in this stretch was objectively a low stretch in his career, especially with the context when we were both watching those games. He probably dropped 2, 3, 4 touchdowns in that stretch as well. So when I'm looking at this, I think they're very comparable picks. They're back-to-back in my rankings. But I do think if Lamb can get back to the level that we saw in 2023, which I still believe is in the range of outcomes, like 17.9 is still strong, especially when you contextualize it was on 0.3 touchdowns per game.
Yeah.
That's my take.
It's totally reasonable to have Lamb over St. Brown. The one thing I would say in defense of St. Brown is their schedule's the easiest in the league. The Cowboys is the 29th in the league. So whatever splits get offset by Laporta playing and blah, 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 blah. First of all, St. Brown, I have him projected for his lowest target total, and I have him projected for 19.24 points per game on the season. So I do have him higher than Lamb's projection, even despite me having pretty optimistic projection on Laporta and Jameson Williams. And the other thing I would say in defense of St. Brown as well is in his career, he's had 3 seasons of double-digit touchdowns. Lamb has had 1 season of double-digit touchdowns. Yeah.
No, again,
so I think the touchdown thing will stay St. Brown scoring more touchdowns. I think Lamb will score more than 0.3 per game, but I think that St. Brown will always score more touchdowns essentially per game than it, because of the offense and the team and the way that they use him in the red zone and then those kind of things. But we got to make a pick here, and then we should keep it rolling here. I'd be fine with QJ.
Receiver. I'm cool with QJ.
QJ would be, I think, my highest rated receiver, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Godwin's there too. I think we can get another receiver with our next pick, whether it's like a Godwin or a Pittman or something like that.
Let's go QJ first. I like that.
Yeah. I'd be okay taking Kraft if he falls too.
Again, that's all to say, by the way. That's the reason why Lamb is at 6, St. Brown's at 7. They're back-to-back on my rankings. I kind of feel like on the site that people are just completely disrespecting the aspect of Lamb, taking his 14.5 points per game and trading it as face value. At least I understand with you, like you're actually contextualizing and you're acknowledging it, which is like more than I can say about a lot of the rankings that I've seen.
Well, again, Danny, I've told you this many times. Your Twitter timeline benefits monetarily from rage baiting you because they know you're going to stay on Twitter if you are getting rage baited on your For You page.
It's not even just Twitter. I love the guys on the site, but some of the shit that I've seen in terms of the Lamb ranking is part of what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone has their biases. No one likes the Cowboys, Danny. You should know this by now.
Fair enough.
Bro thinks he invented punting late round quarterback. I mean, it's called full house because you're heavily investing in 3 running backs early. You're taking 2 receivers and going mid-round receiver, and you're also punting tight end and you're punting quarterback. It's not just quarterback that goes late.
So Zay, let me ask you this. If you've ever played poker, you know exactly what I'm about to say. The hand that is a full house, what does it consist of? Trips and a pair. 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers. That's why it's called that.
Yeah. We took Godwin last time. I have Pittman and Godwin ranked very similar. If you want to go Pittman, like I know he goes way later in ADP, but
why not Josh Downs? We have Jonathan Taylor. We could take Daniel Jones later.
Sure. Okay. Let's go with Josh Downs.
It would be the anti-Alec Pierce bet.
To be honest.
Yeah, it'd also be the anti-Alec Pierce bet. If he's not ready, maybe we get more immediate points there.
That's rage baiting us now. Spicy, who's obviously drafted for us right now, says, can you all break down the whole Sorsby thing? So I don't think I've made an official announcement in leagues that we're commissioning.
I think
what we're going to do.
I
What would
think
you do? Let me ask you this, because I tweeted my thoughts
auction bid.
yesterday. What would you do?
I don't think he should be eligible for next year's draft. I think it should be an auction bid. I think you start at the 4th. You take everybody that would bid a 4th. If everybody in the league or 9 out of 12 or 6 out of 12, whatever, they would move on to the next round. You then make a price the 3rd. Whoever wants to match it, they can go on to the next round. Then you make it a 2nd, then you make it a 1st until there's one person left or multiple left that won't go into the next area. So say, for example, you get to a 27-2, 4 are willing to bid a 27-2, but nobody's willing to bid a 27-1. You would then take the order. You would then take the order of how they finished in the 2026 draft order.
And it doesn't matter to you that somebody may have like finished in with the 101 and then pushed their chips all in or something like that.
Does not matter to me.
Okay. Because what I said was
that's how they do it in the NFL, right? They do it based off the previous year's record and previous year's pick projection.
That's fair. I think that's probably the most fair thing. I just said maybe you could even do it by contending ranks on the site.
You could do it like that as well if everybody in the league,
like a second tiebreaker, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if they finished 205 and 206 in last year's class or whatever, or like in last year's rookie draft, they were the 105, 106. Just look at who's higher in the contending value this year, and maybe that's how you decide it. I think it's reasonable to just push him into the 27 class. Like I don't think he's going to be a significant enough contributor for it to matter in year one. That's why I say it's fine to do that.
I just think it's a more boring way to handle it. Like, why not treat it like we're in the NFL and we have a supplemental draft and this is the guy available? Because the NFL is going to be doing the exact same bidding like scheme, right? So, I'm on the same page. By the way,
how good was this guy for this whole thing to be going down?
I would say so again, Dane Brugler said it best. If he was going to be a first round NFL draft pick, he would have declared.
He's probably quarterback 3.
Brugler said that he had round 3 and round 4 expectations based on what teams told him. So if he's a round 3 and 4 quarterback with some mental health stuff, I don't think he's getting supplemental drafted a 2nd round pick. There's no fucking way a team's doing that, in my opinion. I think that it's going to be a 3rd or a 4th that a team spends on him.
Maybe.
And for me, that means he's not consequential enough for me to put him outside of just being in the 27 class. Because I don't think he'll play at all as a rookie.
I just disagree.
But anyway.
Also, let's see construction. I want to see what the suggestion is. I'm assuming 3 receivers. No, 4.
Yeah, it's saying 2 quarterbacks. I'd be fine with Brooks. I'd be cool with Pearsall even too.
Let's go Brooks first.
Yeah.
Because I kind of just view the wide receivers more flat.
Even if Pitts falls back to us, I'd be fine with him at tight end.
I think he's got more upside than Carson Beck for sure. Carson Beck's arm is kind of toast at this point.
I liked Carson Beck's film. I haven't watched Brendan Sorsby's film, so I can't speak on that. But I
have seen.
I think that Carson Beck has got more upside than people believe. I think everybody assumes he's like this like Stetson Bennett or whatever, and I think he's much better than that.
Go down to receiver, Spicy.
Yeah, I think Carson Beck can be at worst Davis Mills, at best.
You like Dobbs, Coker, or Concepcion?
I like Concepcion. I think he fits the team that we're looking for here. I'd be fine going with a sexless Dobbs or Shakir type and then going upside later, knowing that there's lots of rookies later that I like for upside.
So I don't even have Shakir like close to this rank.
Yeah, I mean, he's like
I've been
I'll
taking
take my
Skylar
5
Bell.
to 7 weeks that he gives me and move on kind of thing.
I've been taking Skylar Bell because I think there's a real shot he eats into his snaps.
Yeah,
he's been doing well at camp.
I can't fight you back on that too much. I'd be fine with Pitts too, like I said.
Yeah, I also don't mind the Romeo Dobbs take there because we've kind of outlined this theory before that if Surtain is shadowing that week against AJ Brown, maybe Dobbs is the guy you need.
Yeah, and just in general, I think on most weeks he's going to see better coverage. My vote would be Pitts. I would take Pitts over both of these.
Let's go Pitts. When I see Ferguson off the board and Pitts not, just take Pitts.
Yeah,
this means he's a value.
Yeah, I think Pitts is a better pick for sure.
That's insane. By the way, you know the reference, right? Obviously.
Yes, I do. I'm clicking back with my last pick purely on opportunity. They have a week 14 bye, so if he gets the nod, I mean, I wouldn't draft an 18th round pick with the fact that you only think he's going to play 3 games. Like if you're making the Beck bet, you think he probably plays starting in like week 6 or something like that. But I do agree with Matt in the fact that people who are drafting Jacoby Brissett probably shouldn't count on him for the fantasy playoffs, because if you're the Cardinals, why on earth is Jacoby Brissett playing games in late November? if you're in the race for the number 1 overall pick, like you got to put Carson Beck out there at some point, and it won't be early in the season. So I think the
what if they're the Sorsby team?
Carson Beck could be a week 17 piece is definitely very fair, because when he gets in there, I mean, he has Harrison, he has Wilson, he has McBride, he has Jeremiah Love. Like, he could score 30 points in week 17. Like, it's not outside of the range of outcomes that Carson Beck has one of the better quarterback finishes in week 17.
What if this is a moot point and the Cardinals are the Sorsby team?
The Cardinals could be the Sorsby team, but I have no fucking idea what they're doing if they are. Why would you spend a 3rd round pick on Beck and then be like, yeah, we don't really believe in him that much, let's get Sorsby in here?
And then would they just like not re-sign Jacoby Brissett in that scenario?
I mean, yeah, I guess it would probably just roll with like a Rattler Shuck situation the next year, where it's like one of these guys can win the job for us.
Yeah, that could be the case for sure. Also, yeah. I believe Davy Degeneracy is starting because Garrett said he paid in.
There we go.
So let's go. See if he said anything.
But yeah, looking at our team here, we are at 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. We have 3 running backs. Is that how many we have, or we have 4? We have 4 running backs. We are definitely done at 5 running backs, and honestly, I don't think we should take the 5th running back until very late in the draft, because with JT, Achane, Price, and Brooks, we should be very much fine at that position. Could I interest you in a Travis Kelce or a Kincaid here with our next pick?
Kelce or Kincaid.
I think they're just the best projections on the board, to be honest. I don't think any of these receivers interest me, and I don't like Tracy that much compared to those guys.
Yeah, it's like if we're not pulling Hunter up the board, then just take the tight end, see what falls.
I'd be down to pull Hunter with our next pick, but I don't want to pull him up here.
I think that's
Kelce when I'm cool with Kincaid here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Pitts and Kincaid, to give you guys an idea, in the projections, they both of those guys came out almost exactly the same as Fannin, who goes like well above them in ADP. So I think Pitts and Kincaid, like the whole like full house strategy, like they're some of my biggest targets at tight end, because I'm totally fine punting the tight end position this year and grabbing, even if I had to spend 2 picks on the tight end position in the first 13 rounds, like I take round 9 Kyle Pitts and then round 12 Isaiah Likely or something, I'm totally fine doing that, knowing that my running backs and wide receivers would probably be figured out at that point in time, because I spent all of my early capital on that position group.
Dude, did you see the picture of Ruben Bain? It just says year 1 for Ruben Bain Jr. And it's just a picture. And I don't know what it is about this, but I feel like I'm looking at like a Madden 11 player shot here. Here.
We're on the clock in 2 picks here. Yeah, that is a Madden 11 player shot. Ruben Bain's going to be in a fucking absolute animal, bro.
Oh, yeah. No, you guys are cooking. I'm pretty happy, too, with Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence Hall.
You want to go Hunter here? I think our team needs the upside, personally.
Yeah. Dude, you don't have to convince me to take Hunter.
Yeah, I am kind of worried about quarterback, too, because the quarterbacks are fucking gone. They are all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pete said, "Are you doing a video about offensive coordinators and coaching changes?" That might be that might be perfect for my honeymoon, Danny, when I'm gone.
Might have to
do that then.
That's a good point. Might have to. We got a couple videos planned as well that you guys are going to be excited for sure.
Yeah, but that's a good one, because you're also going to be talking about that kind of topic.
Yeah,
that time of the week as well. Like, that's not a bad one for sure.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I agree with this. I agree with. Both of our teams did have very good drafts. I could say unbiased as a non-Cowboys fan that you guys had a very good draft, and I'm
likewise
sure you can say the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't love the Josiah Trotter pick just because I think he's very raw, and we kind of needed somebody who was ready to play right away. I would have gotten aggressive and gone after Jacob Rodriguez before the Dolphins took him. And I would have taken Anthony Hill from Texas over Josiah Trotter for sure. I don't remember if he was on the board or not. I can't remember, but those two linebackers, that's the only pick I really disagree with, is the Trotter pick. And I can admit that if Trotter hits, he'll have an extremely high ceiling. I just worry about what he's going to look like right away.
And it is funny to me because we were rumored heavily with obviously Arvel Reese, and he went off the board. And obviously he's not Arvel Reese, but in terms of like, if you were to say, oh yeah, we got Arvel Reese at home in this draft, like Jayshawn Barham would be the Arvel Reese at home in terms of usage, because he played off ball and he played off the edge. Jayshawn Barham.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Malachi Lawrence. I'm like, Malachi Lawrence is Arvel Reese at home.
No, he's a pure edge. But
he played inside linebacker the first 2 years of his career.
Yeah, but he was clearly an edge prospect. Barham legitimately played inside and outside at Michigan and at Maryland.
Yeah.
He's been impressive though. They announced him as a middle linebacker, but they can line him up at the line of scrimmage. He's a very good run and chase type of linebacker as opposed to really a diagnose type of guy. Like he's a guy that you want moving forward. He's a guy that you want getting TFLs, playing around the line of scrimmage. And I agree with this. If you use him as your will linebacker and you have him just banging the A gap, banging the B gap, getting after the quarterback on third down, like he's not really a guy that you want playing on the back foot.
Yeah. But they
He's
also
kind of like
they also
Devin
took Ty
White in that
Simpson,
regard.
so they got immediate C+ for that.
And I agree with that too. I think sideline to sideline ability is definitely there, but I more so want him as a gap shooter as opposed to, like I said, more of an island linebacker.
I non-Cowboy or Bucks, I loved Denver's draft. I think Denver had one of the best drafts. Jonah Coleman and Justin Joly were two of the best picks of the day 3, in my opinion, and they got both of them. So
most shocking part is still the Chiefs moving up to get the lane. I think teams pretty much like clearly viewed him as the number 1 corner on the board. I mean, that's pretty evident by just how far Jermon McCoy fell. With the medicals.
So I'd be cool with a sexless J-Mac, or not J-Mac, sorry, either of the Raiders receivers, but I'd also be fine with J-Mac as well.
Yeah, I'm cool with McMillan here if you want to take McMillan.
Yeah, let's go J-Mac. I know
the quarterback falls back.
I know it's like the hipster pick to say that J-Mac is going to like lead the team in targets or something because he's 1000% not going to. But I do like him in best ball of all the fantasy formats the most because I do think he has we've seen a touchdown upside and the big play upside.
So I've been taking mixtures of both him and Hurst, and it would just basically be the anti-Godwin bet that maybe he starts strong, gets banged up, and then all of a sudden you have an offense that's McMillan in the slot, Igbuka as your movement Z, and then you have Hurst as your X. Like, obviously, if I'm making a scenario for both Hurst and McMillan to be relevant, one of those other two guys would have to go down.
So I think that Igbuka, if he hits big this year, will I'm not going to say pull a JSN, but like the alignment change that JSN had where he went from slot to basically playing X receiver most of the time. I think Igbuka just wins more at X receiver this year. I think he plays X receiver the most on the team.
I guess the worry,
I think Godwin can play X. I think Hurst can play X. I think that whatchamacallit can play X, McMillan, but I think it will be Igbuka at X most of the time.
I'm fine just waiting another pick and taking 3 quarterbacks because I don't see anybody I want to push up.
Do you want to go Boston or Antonio
check
Williams,
construction? What does it say construction wise?
We got 5 sacks.
Okay, go receiver. Yeah, go Boston.
Let's go Boston. This receiver core is a house of cards for sure. I'm worried about it, but
I mean that just means draft more volume.
Yeah, the running back core we have is goated, and our quarterbacks stink. So other than Burrow, of course, we need 2 quarterbacks still.
I'm a big Hurst guy, but I would be shocked if he was the day 1 starter.
I'd be extremely shocked if Hurst plays more than 40% of the routes this year, to be honest with you. I think that
probably back-weighted too. It'd probably be like he plays 20% in the first 8 games, and then maybe he's like a 60 to 7%.
I would be shocked if he was 60% in any game this year, to be honest with you, unless there was major injuries to certain players. But what I just said is why. I think Igbuka is the X receiver. So Igbuka as the best receiver on the team wants him to be the number 1. He is the best receiver on the team. He would have to be off the field for Hurst to be a full-time X, in my opinion. Because
what if it's Godwin though?
It won't be on most snaps. Obviously Godwin can take snaps at X receiver, but he won't be the X on most of the snaps, in my opinion. I think that
I guess my counter
and McMillan will be the Z.
So I guess my counter would be if it comes week 4 and they realize, oh shit, none of our 3 receivers are best at playing the X. Let's get more looks with Hurst and see what it just looks like. Maybe they just want to see at that point, because I do think Hurst has the ability, has the upside to prove that he's the best suited for that role.
I don't think depends on how long it would take when he's at X though, because I think when he's at X, it's sacrificial X stuff. I think you don't want him playing X receiver right away because I don't think he's ready to play receiver in the NFL right away.
He was, we mentioned the budget version of this. He was like the super ultra mega budget version of Carnell Tate.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. He plays like Tate does, but he has nowhere near the refinement that Tate had.
100%. You know my thoughts on Tate.
Again, Robinson will move guys around, generally speaking, but let's say 70 to 80% of the time, this is what I expect to happen. Igbuka at X, Godwin in the other 2 wide receiver spot at Z. And those guys can interchange at times, but I do think it will be Igbokwe at X most of the time. Then when they go 3 receiver sets, Godwin goes in the slot, J-Mac plays Z. That's what I think will happen, let's say 70 to 80% of the routes.
Yeah.
And then Hurst will mix in on packages where they need a deep shot. Hurst will mix in when they want to move Igbokwe into the slot. Hurst will mix in when they want to, stack the side of the field and have him as the downfield read or whatever. Like, I think he's very much going to be a role player in year 1.
Damn, we are getting wiped at quarterback. Sorry.
And I, to be honest with you, I think Hurst in the 15th round is a mistake in best ball.
I've been taking him in 17th, 18th.
Love him in Dynasty. Waiver wire speed dial for redraft. He is live to draw 0 the entire year.
Sampson or Bigsby, and then wrap around with Gino or Rodgers.
Yeah, we only need 1 more running back for sure.
We only need 1 more quarterback because we have Burrow too.
We need 2 more quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Oh, it doesn't say so.
Yeah, I don't think we could get by with just Burrow and Rodgers, but we'll see.
I mean,
we also, because we have, the reason I say that is because we have Pitts, so Tua is live as our 3rd quarterback.
Yeah, maybe in the 18th round we take.
Like literally our final pick. I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd be cool with Bigsby as our 5th running back.
Yeah, let's go tank.
And if we might need to take Rodgers though, is the only thing.
Let's go tank first and see if what Rodgers or Gino fall.
Yeah, we got 2, 3.
Look at all these.
We should be fine at quarterback without these guys. Yeah, I think Rodgers, Tua, perfect. That would be the 2 quarterbacks that I would end this with, because
I would honestly be cool with just Burrow and Rodgers too. Like if we
I mean, I think it's challenging.
It's just like when I look at the construction math, it's just so favored for 2 quarterback builds given the investment we had on Burrow.
Yeah, that's fair.
In terms of construction, I'm cool with either.
I just worry about this team not advancing because of the receiver core and like Hunter and like some of the guys that are a little bit more maybe late season plays and stuff. I want to advance the team.
I guess counterpoint, we have the safety with running back projection.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like we are done at running back. It's not even close. So we're so set at running back.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, we're done at running back. We definitely don't need 9 receivers. Are we taking a 3rd tight end then, or are we taking a 3rd quarterback? Because I think we just take
3rd tight end all day.
Really? You taking a 3rd tight end, Pitts, Kincaid over Rodgers and Burrow? I'd rather have the 3rd quarterback.
Oh, give me
for what it's worth. We could take both.
If you go to the construction, you're going to see 2 quarterbacks versus 3 quarterbacks, and then 2 tight ends versus 3 tight ends. It's not even close. It should be 2 tight ends and 3 tight ends and 2 quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah. I guess following our own tool, you're definitely right on that. And Rodgers just went.
That's what's changed my perspective. Scared. That's why I can't draft off my phone because
so Rodgers went. So do we want to take
Gino all day?
You want to take Gino? Okay.
He's the clear best quarterback projection on the board left.
He is. Yeah.
I don't think.
I do think the thing that worries me about Gino though is we kind of need a 3rd quarterback with him, because I do expect by close to the fantasy playoffs that they want to see Cade Klubnik because they stink.
But counterpoint, Burrow has a week 6 bye, and theoretically,
Gino should still be starting games.
Yeah, and even though it's chalky, I still think you can get by with Burrow throughout the
we just need him to be like the guy you need.
Yeah, which he very well could be.
It's impossible to win Best Ball Mania without him.
Let's just say the Bengals, they're 8-5 or 7-6 going into the final month of the year, and they need to win out to make the playoffs. Like, we could have Burrow averaging 49 attempts per game and scoring 25 points per game or something.
You didn't see that Zach Robinson clip? Igbokwe is going to play Z. I'll believe that when I see it. I hope he does, for what it's worth. For Igbokwe's sake, I hope he plays Z. Godwin playing X would be the best case scenario for Igbokwe. Or whatever, Hurst, Godwin, McMillan, whoever plays X. I hope that's true. I just tend to think from a ball knowledge standpoint that I think that Igbokwe will play Z, but I hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
Do we think Penix will overtake Tua by the fantasy playoffs? So, because I don't have the balls to project Tua for all 17 games, and I only did it for 13 games, I wouldn't be shocked if Michael Penix doesn't play a snap this year. I think Tua is better at every aspect of playing quarterback than him, and that's not saying a lot about Tua. I just think that Penix is that bad.
Yeah. No, I'm on the same page with you.
But it wouldn't shock me if they do ping pong who's starting. Like, because do you expect Atlanta to be winning a bunch of games? Like, if Tua's playing fine and they're 5-6 in week 11, like, yeah, they could see what Michael Penix looks like, and vice versa. If it's Penix playing at first and they want to see what Tua looks like, I think it's very possible that that's the case.
This is interesting for me. I do not view McMillan as an X wide receiver.
I mean, J-Mac can play X. Like, it's just he played in the slot in college.
Yeah.
But I think he could. Yeah, Tua. I just don't agree. I think Tua's arm is not as good as Penix's on raw velocity, but I think he throws with more touch than Penix does. Okay, how did the combos tab work on the overlay? The combos basically just you can search like how many teams you've drafted Achane and Jonathan Taylor on, and how unique that is essentially. Okay, we want to tack on a third tight end here, or we want to go with the third quarterback.
Third tight end all day.
Third tight end. Okay, let's go. You cool with Stour?
Gesicki.
Yeah, let's go Gesicki. Let's go Gesicki.
I like that.
Yeah,
he's been one of like the interesting names in this range because I feel confident that he's going to play some consequential snaps.
Okay, and are we putting an 8th receiver on this team, or are we putting 2 on this team?
What's the difference in 7 or 8 receivers versus 2 or 3 quarterbacks here, Spicy? Go to wide receiver. Why is it still showing running back? That's weird. Maybe now. Okay.
Okay. So 7 receivers, finals percentage, 8 receivers. I mean, it's more beneficial for the finals to have 7 receivers, but it's more beneficial for advance rate to have 8.
And what's it say on quarterback? 2 quarterbacks.
Negligible difference by the looks of it.
2 quarterbacks just like across the board though. Higher.
Okay, I'm fine going with an 8th receiver.
What's chat thing? Chat 2 quarterback or receiver this pick. If you're watching right now, get it quick.
I think we should. I think if we go receiver, we should not go for an upside receiver. We should go for sexless,
like
probably Mooney, or I mean, I'm going to say Franklin again because I always say Franklin, but I'd be cool going 2 at 2. It doesn't matter to me. I'll let you make the call.
Matt says quarterback. We can go with the quarterback then.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, as I said that, TC says wide receiver. So like, it looks like the chat was also split.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. I think that because we have Achane and JT and Price and shit, our receiver core can be a little bit, we'll just ping pong weeks and hopefully we're fine.
But I would argue it's because we have Burrow, then getting a more volume play at receiver, knowing our one's only T. Higgins would probably be better from a math perspective.
I know. It's fair. Burrow's always live to miss a couple games too, though.
And I mean,
if he misses a couple games, this team is fried.
Especially too, if we think about it like this, if we view that, let's just say Tua does start 17 games, and we think he's more of like a 14th, 15th round pick value, where a guy like Daniel Jones goes.
Well, I was going to say, if you asked me who's this year's Daniel Jones, my answer would be Tua Tagovailoa.
But that's what I mean. If you view like he was clearly like better than any receiver value on the board, like I'm totally fine with that too.
Yeah,
because ultimately at the end of the day,
who hits our lineup more, whatever receiver we would have just taken, or Tua Tagovailoa, I think the answer is Tua Tagovailoa.
Which is totally fair. Again, like the tool is good for recognizing who's available at ADP from a macro perspective. But if there is a micro player tick that you truly stand by, and you think this 18th round pick is a 14th round value, absolutely, you don't have to follow exactly what the tool says. Although I think for the most part, the tool just keeps you on track, keeps you structured. So you understand. It helps you understand on most cases what you should be building towards, but there are some exceptions. Like for example, every time
draft too, and going unique like we did is not the worst to do in the puppy.
The prime example for me is every time I take Loveland, it always says, "Oh, you should have a 3 tight end build." But if I view Loveland on par with McBride and Bowers, and those guys are 2 tight end builds, I'm more likely to mix in 2 tight end builds with Loveland as opposed to doing it 3 every time, like the app would say.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Rodgers might be done. What if Drawler's playing games at the end of the season? We didn't take Rodgers for what it's worth, Matt. We got Geno Smith instead. But yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, we should be good here. I don't think we need to astutely. Great. Yeah, we're gonna get new adjectives every time. Next week, join us for methodically drafting 2026 fantasy football teams. But yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow with Dynasty Decisions live stream. So if you have a Dynasty Decisions team, live team review, a trade question, or you want to get your Dynasty Decisions 2.0 answered, if you've signed up for an annual Mother Flocker, you of course do get the full Dynasty Decisions 2.0 for free. So if you guys are interested in getting a team breakdown like Stevie from last week, we give you your 3 biggest decisions, your action plan, kind of a snapshot of what your team is like, your depth, your draft picks, your ranks, your team archetype, etc. That is available on the site, and we will cover that for you tomorrow. So if you want to get a DD 2.0 live team review, trade question, whatever, it will be covered on tomorrow's live stream. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested. That'll be linked in the description. Sign up on Underdog, of course. Huge huge prizes for the Puppy 2, for Best Ball Mania, all the drafts that we did today. We are hoping to take down some heat. We have had the most luck, ironically, drafting as a unit than we have individually. We made the finals 2 years ago, and then infamously a Drake May slide away from winning the whole damn thing last year on Spicy's account. So yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.